Part 105. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1042. Chapter 1024 Scum Abuse, Wake Up, Memory Recovery. The young man moved so fast that neither MRSU nor the guards could react. His strikes were also extremely ruthless. Madame Chu screamed in pain, "Xiaoyu, what are you doing?" But she didn't get a reply from Xiaoyu at all. What she responded was a palm. In the next second, Madame Chu's body flew out like a kite with a broken string, hit the wall with a bang, and was bounced back to the ground by the wall. Xiaoyu didn't hold back at all. MRSU's evolution level is only B level, how can Xiaoyu's opponent be? With a wow, she spat out a mouthful of blood. Severe pain swept over, MRSU tilted her head, and passed out immediately. The guard turned pale with shock. "Ma'am." "Mother," another exclamation came from the door. "Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Why did you hurt my mother?" Xiaoyu ignored it, turned around and left without even looking at it. "Thank you." Chu Chan became mad, and opened her arms to block Xiaoyu. "My mother is your elder, and she hugged you when you were young, and you and I are also childhood sweethearts. Why did you seriously hurt her?" Xiaoyu still ignored him. He was healing Xiaobai in his arms, and he was already out the door with just a movement of his body. Chu Chan's body trembled, and she looked at Xiaoyu's back in disbelief. "Xiaoyu, what do you mean? Breaking with me because of a dog?" Xiaoyu's temperament is indeed cold. He seems loose, but in reality he is cold and unkind. In the Supernatural Management Bureau, Xia Yangkai was famous for his violent temper, but in terms of ruthlessness, Xiaoyu was even better. Chu Chan's expression turned cold, and she stepped forward again. "Xiaoyu, you are not allowed to leave." Xiaoyu didn't look back, and said in a cool tone, "How long can you stop me?" He raised his hand, and with a swish, Chu Chan collapsed on the ground as if all her strength had been drained. Her legs were weak, so she could only watch Xiaoyu leave. Xiaoyu seriously injured MRSU. Chu Chan was not worried about MRSU's life, but was angry that Xiaoyu completely disregarded their friendship and practiced it. Then what is she? She has chased him for so long, all these years, can't even compare with a dog. Chu Chan's body tensed and she gritted her teeth. "Miss," the guard panicked, "Madam is unconscious. Not only that, the power of the evolutionary in the body has begun to dissipate." Xiaoyu's blow actually abolished MRSU's evolutionary lineage. Chu Chan's face was pale, and she stood up reluctantly. "You go and ask the doctor to treat mother. I will go to Grandpa Yun now, and let him make the decision for us." Here, Yun Zhaozhao is secretly playing Oracle Elf, a strategy love game. The last time she was discovered by her father immediately arranged 15 blind dates for her, causing her to forcefully smile all week. How can a man have fun games? Yun Zhaozhao passed the main line level seriously. There was a knock on the door at this moment. "Zhaozhao, it was Xiaoyu. I need a fire Ling Sui." Yun Zhaozhao quickly turned off the screen of the phone. "Yes. Yes, Huo Ling Sui will come soon." She threw the phone on the bed, grabbed the medicine box and rushed out. "Cousin, here. Here you are." Xiaoyu took it. "Thank you." "Cousin, what's wrong with Xiao Bibai?" Yun Zhaozhao noticed the white puppy in his arms, and she was startled. "Its body is so hot, it will burn out its brain." Xiaoyu didn't speak, and slowly fed the Huo Ling Sui to Bai Jinyu. It took him a long time before he spoke, his voice astringent. "I don't know." All he blamed now was that he shouldn't have left her alone. "I'm afraid there aren't enough fire Lingzi," Yun Zhaozhao said. "Let's ask Grandpa for fire Lingzi." Xiaoyu hummed. The two went to the hall. Chu Chan was one step ahead, and while waiting for leader Yun to arrive, she saw Xiaoyu walking in with a white puppy in his arms. She looked gloomy and clenched her fingers. "Okay, you still dare to come here," Yun Zhao Zhao put his hips on his hips, his brows stood on end. Xiao Bibai is so cute, why do you want to hurt her? It's just a pet. Can it be compared to a human? Chu Chan only felt incredible. Besides, my mother had a psychological shadow on the dog because she was bitten by a dog when she was a child. She was very afraid and avoided it. It's my fault. Mother. Xiaoyu suddenly stopped and turned his head slowly. When he spoke, his voice was very calm and quiet, and he said every word, she is not a pet. The young man's brows were cold, and his fox eyes were also cold. Chu Chan felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar, and her heart went cold. Xiaoyu, you. Yeah, your mother was bitten by a dog before, she has psychological shadows, and is afraid of dogs. Yun Zhao Zhao snorted lightly, but your mother didn't avoid it, and even stepped forward to kick and throw the dog. It was terrifying. Even insulting such a small puppy who has never provoked her, your mother is really hateful. Hearing these words, Chu Chan's face turned green. The white puppy was only the size of a palm, and it did not have any attack power, nor was it lying on the road. According to the surveillance video, it was indeed Mrs. Chu who stepped forward and kicked the puppy away. Chu Chan took a deep breath. Yes, my mother is certainly at fault, but dogs and humans are incomparable. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Yun Zhao Zhao continued to output, and his attack power exploded. With my cousin, you and your mother combined can't compare to Xiao Bibai. Yun Zhao Zhao, Chu Chan trembled with anger. You. Oh, by the way, there's something else. Is there something wrong with your focus? Yun Zhao Zhao looked at her strangely. According to the behavior of normal people, you want to heal your mother as soon as possible, but you have to ask me to express her concern first. Brother, what, is he a doctor? Or is it that your goal is my cousin, and you don't even want your mother? Chu Chan was poked at the pain point, and she said angrily, Yun Zhao Zhao, you are talking nonsense. Yun Zhao Zhao raised his eyebrows, and when he wanted to say something, the guard at the door suddenly knelt down and spoke. See the leader. Grandpa Yun. Chu Chan glanced at Yun Zhao Zhao resentfully, and hurried forward. My mother accidentally hurt a dog, Brother Xia is going to lock her up. Grandpa Yun, do you want to help my mother? Dash. Before she could finish the rest of her sentence, she was pushed away by Leader Yun. Chu Chan was taken aback for a moment, and saw Leader Yun strode forward, nervously checked the white puppy in Xiaoyu's arms, and hurriedly asked, Are you all right? I don't know. Xiaoyu lowered his eyelashes and said calmly, I have healed her internal injuries, but her body temperature is still rising, and there is no sign of waking up. After a pause, he whispered again, I have already contacted Mr. Si. Neither the grandparent nor the grandson expected this. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's still very early before Bai Jinyu will turn into a miniature Pixiu. Although Bai Jinyu has not fully recovered her strength, with her current strength, an S-level evolutionary is no match. Leader Yun frowned, and said coldly, purchase the culprit and wait for his punishment. Chu Chan's eyes widened, Grandpa Yun. Stop talking nonsense. Leader Yun showed no mercy at all. If you want to ask for mercy, then go in and accompany her together. Not only because of Si fucking. It's even more because Bai Jinyu is saving the world and helping the common people, she is her and deserves the best. Chu Chan wanted to say something, but was taken down by 2 guards. At this time, Si fucking had arrived. She frowned and took Bai Jinyu over, carefully examining the power flow in his body. Miss Si, I really feel ashamed, Leader Yun said in a low voice, for Miss Xiaobai to have such a thing happen in my spirit league. The leader doesn't have to blame himself, it's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. Si fucking interrupted him, and said, it's a blessing in disguise. Xiaoyu raised his head slowly, what does teacher Si mean? Xiaobai's soul is only the last one that has not returned, and this soul happens to be the key to her last strength and memory. Si fucking said, it may take several years for the soul to fully recover. Come back, and today her body's defense mechanism has been activated, and her soul is alert, and it is estimated that she will be able to fully recover within 3 days. Xiaoyu clenched his fingers and murmured, "Are you going to recover?" "Yes, I fucking put Bai Jinyu, who was still in the form of Pixiu, on the bed, and covered him with a quilt. This high fever is actually due to the return of strength, and the body can't bear it for a while. After the strength is fused, the high fever will subside. And in the process, she may transform at any time." Xiaoyu hummed, "It's okay, I'll be here with her." Leader Yun also breathed a sigh of relief, and asked again, "Miss Si, where is the culprit?" "No rush," Si fucking said flatly, "you can't escape in prison, everything will wait for Xiaobai to wake up." Bai Jinyu fell into a long dream. This dream took her back to a long time ago, when the heaven and the earth had just been enlightened. The original world split into 2 worlds, Wujian, Yunsu, and 9 heavens goddess were born later. And the Pixiu family is the only beast under the command of the 9 heavens goddess. Taking advantage of the trust of Wujian and 9 heavens goddess, Yunsu planned to kill the 2 of them, and the Pixiu clan fell from the patriarch, the elders to the clan members, leaving only 1 egg. The offspring who condensed the last strength and blood of the Pixiu family. After the death of the 9 heavens goddess, in order to protect the common people in the world, the earth and the eternal continent completely parted ways, and the aura of the earth gradually dissipated. Without the spiritual energy, the Pixiu egg could not have survived. Bai Jinyu, who was dying and hadn't broken out of her shell, saw a ray of light protecting her, and led her to the eternal continent, into the tomb of the gods. This ray of light is Si-fucking's original power. It is precisely because of the fact that a part of the original power was separated to protect the last descendants of the Pixiu clan, Si-fucking's soul was incomplete from the very beginning. Thousands of years have passed, this original force protected Bai Jinyu's birth, and the Pixiu bloodline finally continued. Pixiu bears the aura of heaven and earth, the essence of the sun and the moon, and is born with spiritual wisdom and can speak human words. It's just that Bai Jinyu didn't know anything at that time, and was still very curious about the world she came to. She only relied on the guidance of her telepathy to keep getting close to Si-fucking. After crossing a world, she came to the Sunset Forest in Liberty Island. That was the first time she and Si-fucking met. At that time, Si-fucking was less than 10 years old, and she was still a little Pixiu. 1 person and 1 beast stayed together until the explosion happened. Everyone said that Si-fucking was dead and his soul was gone, but she didn't believe it. She could clearly sense that Si-fucking was still alive, so she embarked on a long journey again to find Si-fucking. It took 3 years for Bai Jinyu to come to Linkhung of the Great Xia Empire. She found Si-fucking who was willing to share her original strength to protect her. But when the holy day came, she had no choice but to turn herself into the spring breeze and drizzle. "Juju, last time I was looking for you, this time you must find me. As long as you call my name, I will definitely come back." Bai Jinyu. The sound pierced through the darkness of thousands of miles, like a bronze bell ringing in the ear, shaking away all the fog. "Shua." Bai Jinyu suddenly opened his eyes. Her eyes and throat were dry, and her body was a little sore. She tried to move her fingers, and the person lying beside her bed immediately sensed it, and her hand was held immediately. "Are you awake? Is there anything else uncomfortable?" The familiar voice was hoarse and dull, which made Bai Jinyu startled, and she slowly turned her head. There was a tired look on the young man's brows and eyes, but when he met her gaze, the tired look disappeared, and his eyes slowly curved up, just like the spring breeze blowing, and the peach blossoms were burning. Bai Jinyu moved her lips, "You." This title made Xiaoyu's body tense, and it took him a while before he responded, "It's me." Bai Jinyu tilted her head, stretched out her hand and poked his face, "You seem to be old." Xiaoyu smiled softly and said softly, "Well, I'm old. 3.5 years have passed, and he has experienced a lot. Bai Jinyu looked around, a little puzzled. Where is Juju? Come in a while. Xiaoyu pressed her quilt again. Let's sleep for a while. Bai Jinyu was indeed still sleepy, so she obediently closed her eyes and fell asleep. Xiaoyu raised his hand and tidied her sideburns, then lay down beside her bed again, looking at her quietly. At this moment, Lingmeng Dungeon. Mrs. Chu has woken up, her brain is still a little not sober, and when she found herself in the dungeon, she was terrified. She only remembered that she was sent flying by Xiaoyu, and she was seriously injured and dying. According to regulations, Xiaoyu would be punished, so why was she the one locked up instead? Let me out. Let me out. Mrs. Chu slammed on the door. What are you doing? I'm the victim. With a squeak, the door of the dungeon opened. Leader Yun strode in. Leader, Mrs. Chu seemed to have seen a savior. Leader, Xiaoyu is too much, he almost killed me because of a dog. Even if he is your grandson, you can't favor him. A dog, Leader Yun sneered, do you think your life is more honorable? Mrs. Chu was taken aback. This is natural. Besides, it's not just a dog. Leader Yun looked at her indifferently. Pixiu has wings on its back and a horn on its head. After losing its strength, these two parts will be taken away and turned into a white puppy. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1043. Chapter 1025. Regret at the beginning, thank you, kiss me. This sentence was like a sledgehammer, and it smashed down on Madame Chu's Tianling Gai. Her ears were buzzing, and at this moment, even the voice did not belong to her. Pixiu. Although she is only a B-level evolutionary and does not have any titles, she is also affiliated with the Supernatural Administration after all, and knows what happened in the Great War 3.5 years ago. I also know that millions of pioneers are ready to sacrifice, so that they can leave the Earth in aircraft and look for a new home. It's just that the singing and dancing in the past 3 years has been peaceful, and everything has been carried out in accordance with the rules. Like many people, Mrs. Chu has already put the war 3 years ago behind her. If there is no Bai Jinyu, the final result will be that Sci-Fi and Yuzian will seal Yongsu with their souls, bodies, and even everything, and the two worlds will not be able to escape the fate of disintegration. The power of the world's collapse is devastating, not to mention the aircraft they are riding on. Even the small planet world within hundreds of thousands of light years will be destroyed. Mrs. Chu is not stupid, she can easily think of this. Her face turned pale immediately, her lips trembled. Leader, I don't know. How did she know that the white puppy that was only the size of a palm and could be trampled to death with one foot was Pixiu? Pixiu is a divine beast conceived by heaven and earth. Its body is like a tiger and leopard, and its head and tail are like a golden dragon. It should be majestic and majestic. Naturally, she couldn't match that white puppy with the divine beast Pixiu. Those who don't know are innocent, so why lock her up? It was she who saved you, and you will repay her with revenge. Leader Yun's voice was cold. You don't have to say anything you don't know. Take a step back, even if it's just an ordinary puppy, she is lying there resting. Why did you have to go over and kick her hard? His tone paused, and his eyes became colder. It's just for your own selfishness. You are so proficient, so you can treat others like this. Mrs. Chu stopped talking, and cold sweat broke out on her forehead. She is indeed used to acting arrogantly on weekdays, not to mention cats and dogs. She also beats and scolds the guards casually. And that day, she also happened to have resentment towards Xia Yangqiu and Yun Fengzi and his wife, and this resentment could not be relieved, so she naturally vented it on a puppy. But this extremely inconspicuous little dog is a brave Pixiu with great luck. This luck maintains the balance of these two worlds. How dare she? Mrs. Chu's body has already softened, She collapsed on the ground. She has lost her previous arrogance, and began to beg for mercy. Leader, I really don't know, I didn't want to hurt Pixiu, I really. Needless to say, Pixiu has its owner. Leader Yoon interrupted her indifferently, save your words for Miss Si. Hearing this title, Mrs. Chu's face turned even paler. Si fucking. She almost forgot that Pixiu and Si fucking, who succeeded her as the Nine Heavens goddess, lived together. At this time, there was another sound of footsteps. Leader Yoon turned around and nodded towards the visitor, Miss Si. Grandpa Yoon doesn't have to be so polite to me, Si fucking said, just call me Ching Ching. Leader Yoon was choked, and immediately laughed, okay, no problem, no problem. There are actually problems. If you count those years of soul cultivation, Si fucking has passed through countless reincarnations, and he even wants to call her grandma. Ching Ching, is Xiaobai awake? Leader Yoon asked with concern, is there any serious problem? Well, I've woken up. Si fucking nodded, I'm going to visit her now, she will take care of her own affairs. Leader Yoon breathed a sigh of relief, okay. Si, Miss Si. Mrs. Chu opened her mouth, but couldn't utter a complete sentence, and could only watch Si fucking and Leader Yoon leave. Mrs. Chu regretted more than 10,000 times why she deliberately stepped forward to kick the dog when she had nothing to do. It was an action she was used to many times, but this time she actually kicked the iron plate. But it's too late to regret it now. Bai Jinyu slept for 4 hours, and when she woke up again, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Her strength returned, her memory recovered, her body was very brisk and energetic. Juju. Bai Jinyu rushed forward and hugged Si fucking, I miss you so much. Me too. Si fucking's eyes darkened, she smiled, I fulfilled my promise and found you. Bai Jinyu was stunned, I know, I can feel that Juju is always by my side. 10,000 years ago, Si fucking protected her with her original power. 10,000 years later, he repaired her soul with a ray of soul power. Of course she would give up everything for Si fu. Okay, everything is over, Si fucking said lightly, we are all fine now, you can play whatever you want. Yeah. Bai Jinyu nodded vigorously, she hesitated, Juju, hasn't my sister been found yet? Si fucking's movements paused, but he smiled deeper, with firm eyes, I will find it, she is also waiting for me. The roads are different, but the mountains and rivers always meet. Okay. Bai Jinyu said, I will accompany Juju to find my sister. By the way, there is one more thing. Si fucking told the ins and outs of Mrs. Chu, how do you want to solve it? Oh, then I'm fine now, so don't punish other people. Bai Jinyu thought for a while, and hugged Si fucking's arm, anyway, she has already been slapped by you, so let her go and take care of her. Reflect on learning, sometimes blind violence can't change anything, if similar things happen again, the punishment will be increased. Yes. I fucking patted her head, his eyes were soft, I know what you think. Juju. Bai Jinyu pointed her fingers, feeling a little guilty, I'm so hungry. Seeing her green eyes, Si fucking sighed, and put the gold bricks he had prepared in front of her, eat. Bai Jinyu cheered, and immediately took a bite of the gold brick. She puffed up her cheeks and said kaka deliciously. The door was pushed open at this moment. Xiaoyu saw the girl with a mouthful of gold flakes at a glance, and he raised his eyebrows. Hey, Yu, Bai Jinyu greeted him with one free hand, Juju said that you have been taking care of me, it's really hard for you. Well, I have a conscience. Xiaoyu smiled, Miss Si, you have other things, I'll just watch her. Bai Jinyu also said, Juju, go get busy, I'm very good now. Okay. Si fucking nodded slightly, call me if you need anything, as long as you call me, I will come. She was very relieved that Xiaoyu came to take care of Xiaobai, so she closed the door and left. Bai Jinyu began to chew on the second gold brick seriously. Xiaoyu put one hand in his pocket, tilted his head and asked her, "Xiaobai, did you forget something?" Bai Jinyu rubbed her eyes and thought about it seriously. "I just remember telling Juju that she must come to me. I waited for her, then I dreamed repeatedly, and then I woke up and saw you la. Is there anything else?" "Xiaoyu." 3 seconds later, he pressed his temple for the first time. "Very good. We have to start all over again." "Yes." Xiaoyu looked at her deeply. "You are now a freshman student of Xia University, and you will go to the filming crew with me in your free time." "How is this possible?" Bai Jinyu glanced at him and hummed, "I'm lazy, I just want to lie still, I don't want to be filming, you must be lying to me while I'm not recovering." With a lazy expression, Xiaoyu raised his hand, clasped his fingers and tapped her forehead lightly. "Xiaobai, be reasonable, whoever bullies whoever cheats whom." Bai Jinyu recalled that when she hadn't been able to become a human, she was always the one who oppressed Xiaoyu, and felt guilty for a moment. "I don't know, I lost my memory." "Well, good," Xiaoyu said lightly, "then you still have a lot to recall." Bai Jinyu gnawed the gold bricks, wiped her hands, turned back into a miniature pixie with a swish, and climbed onto Xiaoyu's shoulders, confidently. "I want you to be my mount, let's go to the set." Tianxia crew. Because Bai Jinyu has been in a coma, Xiaoyu took 3 days off. The filming progress was very fast, so the director readily agreed. Today, Xiaoyu returned to the crew, and every scene was revisited. Not only that, Bai Jinyu also gave the crew a big surprise. The director couldn't help admiring, "Miss Bai looks more energetic today, she is a born actress." Xiaoyu smiled casually, "Leave her, Mom." Director. The director didn't know that Bai Jinyu used all his restraint to resist not using the magic skills of Pixiu. After filming a scene, she lay on a rocking chair and basked in the sun. Such a comfortable life was indeed what she had longed for before. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the filming officially ended. Bai Jinyu yawned and looked up. He is also wearing the white God of War armor, and the belt outlines his waist more perfectly. She was stunned. Oops. She was actually immersed in Xiaoyu's beauty. "I'm leaving." Xiaoyu stretched out his hand. "Why are you in a daze here?" Bai Jinyu rubbed her stomach, feeling aggrieved. "I'm hungry, I need to rest." Xiaoyu hummed, "What to eat?" "Eat sweet and sour pork ribs, stir-fried yellow beef, golden sandcorn." Bai Jinyu pointed out the names of the dishes with his fingers. "I will eat everything that is delicious. I used to eat gold, but now I can finally eat human food." "Okay, let's eat." Xiaoyu seemed to be smiling. "Change and let's go eat." Upon hearing that there was food to eat, Bai Jinyu immediately went to the dressing room to change into casual clothes. When she came out, Xiaoyu was already waiting for her at the door of the set. Seeing her coming, he nodded and said, "That time-honored brand has a lot of people, I'll go to line up, just wait for me in the alley." Bai Jinyu waved his hand, "No problem." Xiaoyu first bought her a bunch of candied haws, to cushion her stomach. Bai Jinyu squatted on the ground while eating candied haws and counting 4-leaf clover. After an unknown amount of time, her nose moved suddenly, and she smelled a very faint smell of blood, and she became vigilant. Xiaoyu had a pixie hair left by her on his body, and she easily locked his position. When she arrived, Xiaoyu was leaning against the corner of the alley, panting slightly with his head raised. Blood flowed down his abdomen, very gorgeous. Bai Jinyu was taken aback. How did you get hurt? Could it be that I haven't been here for 3.5 years, and you are getting worse and worse?" Hearing this sentence, Xiaoyu's eyelashes trembled, and he slowly raised his eyelids. "It's just carelessness, what's wrong?" "I just can't." Bai Jinyu stepped forward, stretched out his hand to cover his wound. "Why don't you let me follow? Who hurt you?" A faint golden light flowed from her palm, and Xiaoyu's wound was slowly healing. This is Pixiu's natural ability. Xiaoyu looked down at her, and suddenly called out, "Xiaobai." Jinyu raised her head. When she raised her head, she bumped into the tip of Xiaoyu's nose, which was warm. When Jinyu regained consciousness, the distance between her and Xiaoyu was less than 1 centimeter. She opened her eyes wide and felt hot all of a sudden. In fact, they have a lot of close contact, but she is already a human being, not Pixiu. It's not that she doesn't understand anything, this distance is too dangerous. Jinyu regained her composure and was about to stand up and back away. But she didn't succeed in retreating. Her wrist was suddenly held by a big hot hand, which pulled her into her arms. Hello. Jinyu's head hit Xiaoyu's chest, her nose was sour, and tears almost came out. Your body is so hard. You are hurting, so why do you move? She lowered her head and was about to push him away. Xiaoyu's fox eyes lowered slightly, like clear gems, scattered the stars all over the sky. His long eyelashes were already attached to her cheeks, and the breaths of both sides were intertwined with each other. His voice was still as loose as ever. Are you nervous? What? I'm nervous? Will I be nervous? Jinyu said earnestly. You must recognize your family status. Hearing this, Xiaoyu couldn't hold back a chuckle, and said flatly, but Xiaobai, you dare not look at me. It's just nonsense. Then you look up and look at me. His speaking speed is unhurried, with a hint of persuasion. I won't watch it. Oh, then you are afraid. It turns out that you are also afraid sometimes. Jinyu was aroused to be competitive, and said fiercely, what am I afraid of? Look. Why don't I dare to look? She raised her head and happened to meet the smiling eyes of the young man. The slightly cold moonlight fell on him, outlining the cold outline of the young man. His eyes were slightly squinted. The youth was full of vigor, but also very mature. The combination of these two temperaments is fatal. At this moment, Jinyu was bewitched again. Okay, finally see me. Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows, tapped his lips with his finger, and asked her in a low voice, don't you kiss me like before? Brother Xie decided to attack with all his might. Noob. Xiaobai is confused. Xiaobai died in action. Q reading is still a double monthly ticket. It is almost over 1,000, 1 vote is worth 2 votes, everyone vote. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1044. Time stood still suddenly at this moment, so quiet that even the sound of the wind stopped. The moonlight became more and more hazy, falling on his face, dyeing his eyebrows silvery white. A pair of fox eyes are slightly curved, the cool lips are light-colored, and the sharp facial features give people a strange feeling at this moment. He moved his shoulders slightly again, and the long and dense eyelashes swept across her cheeks, causing a tingling electric current. Jinyu stared at him blankly, dumbfounded. Seeing that Xiaoyu was injured, she was very worried about him, but she never expected to hear such words from him. What is he saying? For the first time, Jinyu felt that her brain was overloaded, and her nervous system began to gradually collapse. She had to admit that she really liked Xiaoyu's face. But during the youth training camp, the main reason she got close to Xiaoyu was because he and Si fucking looked alike. But there is no such person in this world. Xiaoyu treats her very well, she also plucks her own pixie hair for him. But she still couldn't understand what he was talking about at the moment. Jinyu was still racking her brains to recall when she kissed him. Is she such a bully? Only Juju can do this kind of thing. Seeing that she didn't respond, but just stared at him blankly, Xiaoyu sighed, and the smile between his brows and eyes deepened. What's the matter? He stroked her hair with one hand, fixed her head, forced her to look at her. His voice was lower, and he laughed intermittently while panting. You were very bold last time. Righteously, I am now at your mercy, why not continue? Bai Jinyu was even more stupid. But Xiaoyu's words are also very true. At this moment, he was leaning against the corner of the wall, his shirt was half faded, and there were still some red marks on his fair skin. He looked a little weak, and gave birth to a sickly and abused beauty. Bai Jinyu's brain burned. Bai Jinyu suddenly turned into a pixie puppy. Bai Jinyu ran away without looking back. The deep alley was silent, Xiaoyu's eyelashes drooped, and his eyes fell on his abdomen. The wounds have all disappeared, but there is still a faint residual warmth. He raised his eyebrows, the previous sickly posture was swept away, and he regained his noble and indifferent appearance, and slowly stood up, without any sign of injury. With his hands behind his back, Xiaoyu said in a calm voice, "Have you seen enough?" "Master." The black-clothed guard fell off the wall. He knelt on one knee, and after saluting tremblingly, he said with difficulty, I need to injure you again?" With Xiaoyu's current comprehensive combat power, he has surpassed Xia Yangqiu and Leader Yun, and is the #1 member of the Spirit League. This is the great Xia Empire again, there is not even Yu fooling, indeed no one can hurt him, unless he does it on purpose. When the black-clothed guard received the order, he asked repeatedly for the first time, and after confirming that he had heard correctly, he heard him tremblingly under Xiaoyu's intimidation. At first, the black-clothed guards thought that Xiaoyu and Yun Fengzi had quarreled, and planned to pretend to be sick and let Xia Yangqiu take care of him. After all, their young master had done this kind of thing many times before. But who would have thought that their young master came to cheat a little girl? Still using bitter tricks? No, it should be a combination of bitter tricks and beauty tricks. No need. Xiaoyu casually fastened the buttons of his shirt, as if smiling, she's not stupid, she'll realize it after a while, it's useless. Black-clothed guard. Is this scolding or boasting? Xiaoyu glanced at the sky, you go, I'm going back to Xia University. It was useless to attack slowly, she had forgotten the things between them 3 times in a row, not to mention that during the time when she lost her memory, she was completely defenseless against the relationship between men and women. Fortunately, Bai Jinyu's soul has completely returned to its place now, her spiritual wisdom is fully opened, and she understands these things. What method should he use next time? Xiaoyu raised his eyes and began to seriously think about this question. Here, Bai Jinyu ran all the way back to Xiada's dormitory. After entering the dormitory, she found a public restroom and changed back. The house number of the dormitory was also told by Xiaoyu to her, and she opened the door. I'm back. Jinyu, Bian Suiyan was very happy to see her. Are you cured? Okay, Bai Jinyu stammered, I made you worry. That's good. Bian Suiyan sized her up and down, and was a little worried. Your face is so red, could it be because you have a fever again? Hearing this sentence, Bai Jinyu's face became redder and hotter, and she forcibly calmed down. I ran back, it's too hot. So that's how it is. It's good that you don't have a fever anymore. Bian Suiyan nodded. Suddenly she seemed to have thought of something, and pulled out a box with great interest. Jinyu, it's all yours. Bai Jinyu squatted down with some doubts. What is this? Love letters. Bian Suiyan beamed brightly. You're not here, so I'll keep them for you. If you like anything, keep it. Bai Jinyu turned the pages, shook her head and said, I don't like any. What? Here are some handsome guys who are famous far and wide, and they are super good at studying, with full grade points. Bian Suiyan's eyes widened. Then what kind of Jinyu do you like? I'll help you find it. Bai Jinyu tilted her head. I like. Her voice paused, and the scene of Xiaoyu grabbing her hand and asking her why she didn't kiss him with lowered eyebrows appeared in her mind uncontrollably. Bai Jinyu was dumbfounded again. Ruined. The memory is too clear to forget. Pointing at her flushed face, Bian Suiyan said in surprise, Jinyu, you are very familiar. Bai Jinyu. She rushed into the bathroom, took a cold shower, sat at the desk and took out the lab textbook and started reading. But at this moment, her heart was a little confused, and she couldn't settle down at all. Why did her shit-shoveling officer suddenly turn sour? She fed him to the machine as rations, and he actually asked her to kiss him. How is this going? Could it be that during the period of her amnesia, something extraordinary happened? Bien Swayan was reading a novel, and suddenly sighed, "Oh, how did this male protagonist cheat the female protagonist with cruel tricks, and the female protagonist was also deceived, but I like him so much." Bai Jinyu suddenly raised her head. "Yan Yan, what did you say?" "Huh," Bien Swayan was taken aback, then shook her phone. "I was recommended a piece of black sesame glutinous rice balls by the male protagonist, so touching." In the blink of an eye, Bai Jinyu suddenly figured it out. "Thanks, you." Her fist hardened. Bien Swayan was startled and almost fell off the upper bunk. She had never heard Bai Jinyu yelling at people in this tone before, and she couldn't help but turn pale with shock. "What's wrong with Xiaoyu? Is it a relationship? Is my life? I lost my CP." "Not at all." Bai Jinyu clenched her fists tightly and said loudly, "He is the biggest liar in the world. He is extremely hateful, black-hearted, and shameless. What black sesame rice balls, at least the rice balls are sweet, he know." Bien Swayan. In order to prevent her from falling down, Bien Swayan immediately climbed off the bed, held Bai Jinyu's shoulders with both hands, and said tremblingly, "What did he do to you? You won't be deceived, right?" Bai Jinyu immediately retorted, "No. I am so powerful, he can't beat me." Bien Swayan looked at her seriously, and finally concluded earnestly, "Jinyu, there is something wrong with you. Even though it's autumn, you can still talk about love. Do you want to find someone to talk about?" Bai Jinyu became even angrier. "I won't look for Xiaoyu." Bien Swayan. She didn't seem to mention Xiaoyu's name. She decided to secretly go to the set when she was not in class, to see what Xiaoyu had done to her precious roommate. The more Bai Jinyu thought about it, the angrier she became. She took out her phone and typed a few words. "Xiaobai, I treat you so well, yet you lied to me. I don't talk to you anymore." With a ding, the other party responded quickly. "Thank you, I'm taking a shower picture." Bai Jinyu saw the photo he sent without any precautions. The photo only took the upper body. The young man's hair was wet, sticking to the sides of the cheeks, water droplets fell from the top, slid down the chin into the collarbone, and sank into the abdominal muscles all the way. He looked at her through the lens, his eyes dim. Bai Jinyu was dumbfounded. What is this person doing again? Let yourself go. Xiaobai, who wants to watch you take a bath? Xiaoyu, teacher Si is coming to the set tomorrow, will you still come? Xiaobai, come on. Bai Jinyu groaned and quit WeChat. Jeju is going, she will definitely go, she will let Jeju decide for her. The next day, at 10 o'clock in the morning, Bai Jinyu got up from the bed, rubbed her face, washed up briefly, changed her clothes and went out. The crew is very close, and it only takes 10 minutes to walk there. Before reaching the entrance of the set, she had already seen Xiaoyu from a distance, and she subconsciously dodged. After hiding, Bai Jinyu finally came to his senses. What is she hiding from? It is obvious that Xiaoyu does not abide by male virtues, she wants to laugh at him. Xiaobai, just as she was thinking, Xiaoyu called her, with a smile on her lips, "Did you sleep well last night?" With a swish, everyone in the crew focused their attention. The assistant director Fly rubbed his hands with a gossip expression. Very good, Bai Jinyu snorted, yesterday I beat you up in a dream for 3 days and 3 nights, that's great. Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows when he heard this, did your hands hurt from the beating? Come here and let me have a look. Bai Jinyu. I can't afford it, She hides. Although the assistant director is very gossip, he can only shoot first. The first scene was Xiaoyu's, and Baijinyu rested on the chair again. Footsteps started and stopped in front of her. Baijinyu thought it was Xiaoyu, but when she opened her eyes, she realized that it was an ugly monster with heavy makeup. She immediately stepped back. Who are you? Could it be that the entertainment industry has degenerated again in the past 3 years? Mu Qing choked for a moment. I'm Mu Qing. I had a confrontation with Miss Bai, and Miss Bai forgot again. Oh, Baijinyu closed her eyes again, showing no interest. Mu Qing looked at her, but still asked, I've always wanted to ask you a question, are you Xiaoyu's underground girlfriend? These words finally made Baijinyu move, and she opened her eyes again. Baijinyu. Baijinyu, are you blind? Mu Qing's smile didn't change, but her expression became a little worried. How to explain this? Miss Bai has always been very hostile to me. Did Xiaoyu say something about me in front of you? Have always been hostile to him? Baijinyu suddenly realized. It seems that when she was a mentally handicapped child without regaining her memory and strength, she didn't like this green tea boy either. Baijinyu looked at him with contempt. Of course not, it's because you are blind, and I don't like you. Is it hard to see that she is Xiaoyu's little ancestor? But now Xiaoyu committed the following crime, which made her very distressed. Mu Qing couldn't laugh any longer, but he has been in the entertainment industry for so long, and he is well versed in the way of being a traffic star, so he can still keep smiling. Then what is the relationship between Miss Bai and teacher Xie? I am a little curious. Baijinyu ignored him and ran to the other side. Mu Qing's smile finally disappeared, and his eyes were a little dark. He is a man, so he can naturally see Xiaoyu's feelings for Baijinyu. I didn't expect that Xiaoyu had no scandals in his 7 years since his debut, so he was hiding it here. Xiaoyu has a lot of girlfriend fans. If the romance breaks out, at least half of the fans will take off. But he had to find substantial evidence. With deep eyes, Mu Qing sneered slightly, turned and left the set. Baijinyu has been by Sci-fi's side for many years, and she has also been influenced by her ears and eyes. Her acting skills are good, and Xiaoyu brought her into the play. The filming process went very smoothly. At 5 o'clock, all the filming ended, but the crew became restless at this time. Teacher Si. It's Teacher Si who is here. There is no guest appearance by Teacher Si today. The director and assistant director were also taken aback, and immediately went to greet Si. I'll come and take a look. Everyone don't have to be cautious. Si waved his hand. If you have any difficulties, you can find me. Juju, Baijinyu cheered, ran forward and hugged Si. I miss you so much. Come down quickly. Si patted her on the back. I'm not at home now, there are many people. Baijinyu let out a small "oh," and reluctantly let go of her hand. I just want to stay with you for a while. The surroundings were silent, and the staff members all opened their mouths and stared. The assistant director raised his head in a trance, and suddenly realized. No wonder Si beat Xiaoyu and Su Yang to become number 1 in this year's ranking of the male gods in the entertainment industry. This boyfriend is so powerful. Si and Baijinyu sat down beside him. How about filming? It's okay, Baijinyu said. I see that you have acted a lot, so I will too. The director was a little surprised. It turned out that Xiaoyu said that Baijinyu's acting skills followed her, so she is Si. This is personally directed by the actress Glenn. Your body is just right, so it's not advisable to be too tired. Si nodded. You must tell me if you have anything to say. Baijinyu remembered what happened yesterday again, and she forcibly calmed down. It's nothing. Xiaoyu chuckled. Really not? Baijinyu glared at him. She kept it a secret for him, but he didn't appreciate it. Baijinyu hummed twice and decided to ignore him. Suddenly, several images appeared in her mind. One was that she turned into a human on Xiaoyu's bed and was held in his arms. The other was that she turned into a dog and licked Xiaoyu's lips. Thanks, you. Brother Xia is about to suffer. Cred the last 2 days of the double monthly pass, everyone who has a vote, vote. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1045. Chapter 1027 Confession, His Majesty exploded. The picture is very clear. Thank you. You're done, Bai Jinyu said fiercely. I'm not done with you. The surrounding fell silent. This sound startled Sci-fi. She had never seen Xiaobai so angry. If Bai Jinyu was in the form of a brave man at this moment, the hairs all over his body would probably explode. Xiaoyu messed with her? Sci-fi glanced at Xiaoyu, and folded his arms to watch the show. Xiaoyu paused, and slowly lowered his head. He blinked slightly, looked at Bai Jinyu with an innocent expression, as if he didn't know anything, and said softly, "What's wrong?" At this time, thinking about the previous things, the timing is very unfavorable for him. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Bai Jinyu clenched his fists again. You. She stuttered for a long time, unable to utter a complete sentence. Especially now that all the eyes of the crew are on her, with surprised expressions. She couldn't just talk about such a personal topic so bluntly. Xiaoyu crossed his arms and took a good rest, with an appearance of humbly accepting the teaching. I'm listening, Xiaobai, what do you say? Bai Jinyu's fist became harder. This black sesame glutinous rice ball knows everything, but is still pretending to be innocent here. Bai Jinyu turned her head and said aggressively, Juju, I'm applying for a duel with Xiaoyu. Sci raised his eyebrows, supported his chin with another hand, and smiled, I approve, let's go. Bai Jinyu immediately pushed Xiaoyu away. The assistant director withdrew his gossiping gaze, and couldn't help discussing with the director, I guess teacher Xia must have done something to offend MS Bai, otherwise MS Bai wouldn't be so angry. The director was a little puzzled, what can you do to be sorry for someone? The two looked at each other, and after thinking about it for a long time, they still couldn't figure it out, and finally chose to go back and continue editing the video. Here, Bai Jinyu pushed Xiaoyu into an alley outside the crew. In order to prevent other people from passing by, she temporarily sealed the place. After doing all this, she officially launched an attack on Xiaoyu. You saw all of me and hugged and kissed me. She was so stupid at that time, she thought that Xiaoyu didn't know that she was that white pixie puppy. Now that her memory has recovered and she thinks about it, she just wants to travel back and pinch herself awake. Xiaoyu hummed, raised his eyebrows, and called her, Xiaobai. What are you doing? Bai Jinyu said fiercely, just say, what should I do? If I remember correctly, Xiaoyu paused, and said unhurriedly, it seems that you jumped on my bed first, and it seems that you kissed me first, and there is one more thing I need to clarify, I didn't see all of you, only the position above the neck. Bai Jinyu. It seems so right. Bai Jinyu was still very angry, I don't know, don't you? I know. Xiaoyu blinked again, it's just that teacher Si said that you need to remember everything on your own initiative. I can't mention it, lest it affect the speed of your soul's recovery. Bai Jinyu was dumbfounded. So it seems like it's all her fault. During the 2 seconds when she was in a daze, the young man gradually approached. He bent down slightly, put one hand on the wall behind her, and wrapped her in his arms. The familiar scent of cold roses came slowly, and Bai Jinyu suddenly regained consciousness, and her movements were faster than her brain's thinking. In the next second, the positions of the two changed, and it was she who pressed Xiaoyu against the opposite wall. Bai Jinyu raised her chin proudly, and snorted, unexpectedly, I'm the one knocking on you. Xiaoyu's expression didn't change at all, as if he had expected this incident a long time ago, he lowered his eyelashes, looked at her from above, and asked, "Then what's next?" Bai Jinyu was stunned. "Next? What should I do after Bidong?" Xiaoyu looked at her, his eyes were bright and clear like tourmalines. "Have TV dramas and novels taught you?" Bai Jinyu thought about it for a while. After the wall is over, it seems to be an indescribable restricted level picture. As soon as her hand was hot, she took it back instantly, and her face turned red. You big hooligan. I didn't see you stood up straight, Xiaobai, why do you like wronging people so much? Bai Jinyu asked herself that she was being shameless, but she was still as shameless as him. Then what should we do now? Xiaoyu has a good temper, I accept that you are responsible for me. Bai Jinyu was silent. 3 seconds later, she sincerely praised him, you are really shameless. Xiaoyu also accepted it all, thank you for the compliment. I tell you, this man, there is no result between man and Pixiu. Bai Jinyu stuttered again, have you watched TV dramas? The ending of interspecies love is very tragic. Hearing this sentence, Xiaoyu finally put away the sloppy look in his eyes, looked at her quietly, and said in a low voice, no, I won't allow such a result to happen. Bai Jinyu was startled. He raised his hand, and majestic power surged through his fingertips. I haven't given up on cultivation in the past 3 years, you see. Bai Jinyu looked over. A blue-purple electric current bloomed in his palm, like a grand firework. She murmured, the peak of the Holy Spirit realm. She is the divine beast that protects Sci-fi and the earth, and is also the messenger between the eternal continent and the earth. She knows how difficult it is to reach the peak of the Holy Spirit realm. Yes, at the peak of the Holy Spirit realm, Xiaoyu said slowly, I can protect you. They have no good results, but we won't. I can remove all obstacles for you. Bai Jinyu stared at him blankly. Bai Jinyu turned into a Pixiu puppy. Bai Jinyu ran away again. She ran all the way back to the set, and for the first time felt that it was very good to be able to change back and forth between the Pixiu and the human form. At least it was covered by the fur of the Pixiu, so that others could not see that her face had turned red into an apple. Sci-fi had just finished speaking to a young actor. Seeing Bai Jinyu come back, she knelt down and raised her eyebrows. The duel is over? Did you win? I didn't even hear anything. Bai Jinyu faltered, I lost. Losing? Sci-Fu raised his eyebrows even higher, how did you lose? Bai Jinyu lay on the ground helplessly, and cried loudly, Juju, I lost so miserably, he is so heartless. She likes Xiaoyu so much, yet he has something wrong with her. Sci-Fucking responded, He Xingkang has a way to deal with He Xingkang, I am familiar with this matter, and I will write you a strategy later. Hearing this sentence, Bai Jinyu's eyes lit up, okay, Juju, I'm waiting for your strategy. She came back to life, playing with butterflies. Sci-Fucking pondered for 2 seconds, then suddenly remembered something. She has only dealt with Yu Xian before, and the strategy she summed up in it. Isn't it wrong to let Xiaobai use it to deal with Xiaoyu? Regardless of these, try it first. After all black-hearted monsters are exactly the same. Ever since hearing Xiaoyu's words that shocked her, Bai Jinyu has been avoiding Xiaoyu for the past few days. Fortunately, she has no roles during this period, and she doesn't need to go to the crew until the promotional road show of the crew of Changxian this weekend. Oh my god Jinyu, you are really amazing. Bian Suiyan grabbed her hand excitedly, it's really because of you that I'm so expensive, I didn't expect to be able to enter the infield. Bai Jinyu carefully hid behind her, Yan, help me watch. Bian Suiyan didn't understand, so she asked, what are you looking at? See if Xiaoyu is here. Bai Jinyu lowered his voice, if you see him, remember to tell me. As soon as she finished her sentence, she was suddenly patted on the shoulder. Bai Jinyu turned her head and opened her eyes wide. Xiaoyu put his hands in his pockets, With a casual expression, I thought you were planning to hide from me for the rest of your life. Huh, nonsense, Bai Jinyu snorted twice, who am I? How could I avoid you? It's because you feel wrong. When she said this, she looked around and found that no one was paying attention here. As the pinnacle of the Holy Spirit realm, Xiaoyu can choose who to see him. Xiaoyu's eyelashes moved, and he bent down, then give me a chance. What chance? Chase you. Bai Jinyu's face was hot, I am hard to chase. And Xiaoyu seemed to be talking to himself, and seemed to be making a promise to him. He smiled, then chase him forever. Bai Jinyu looked at him hesitantly, is this really your first time chasing someone? Your proficiency is at the level of King of the Sea. Well, it's the first time. Xiaoyu was thoughtful, but I did ask someone who has experience. Bai Jinyu was curious, who is it? Xiaoyu casually glanced at His Majesty who was sitting under the stage, and he blinked, I'll tell you when I catch up. Bai Jinyu covered her ears, then I won't listen. She pulled Bian Suiyan away quickly. The Chengxian promotional meeting ended, and Director Qi specially hosted a banquet for all the actors and crew. Ji Yun took time out of his busy schedule and rushed over from the Oracle headquarters building. It's been a long time since I saw you. Ji Yun was very happy to see Sci-fi. We need to have a good chat in a while. By the way, have you finished playing Oracle Elf? Recently this mobile game Link virtual VR equipment improves the player's immersive experience. Hearing this sentence, Sci-fi smiled, I haven't played yet, but we want to have a good chat. Ji Yun felt that her smile was very unfriendly, and his spine felt chills. He bit the bullet and said, otherwise, let's not chat. Then how can I do it? Sci-fi said in a soft voice, you invented such an interesting strategy game and brought Oracle to a higher level. I have to thank you before it's too late. She very much recognized Ji Yun's ability to invent games, at least this Oracle Elf taught Yu Xian a lot of new things. Ji Yun always felt that there was something in her words, and he looked at her vigilantly, I didn't offend you, did I? No. Sci-fi was very calm, not only do I have something to tell you, but my senior brother also has something to tell you. Ji Yun. He is from the Free State, so he naturally knows that Sci-fi belongs to the top of the cloud, and has many senior brothers and sisters at the level of big bosses. Talk to him. No, the best policy is to walk. I remembered that a new copy of Oracle is going to be launched today, and I have to go to test the data. Ji Yun said hastily, the gift has been delivered, so I will leave first. He didn't make it, but was blocked by a figure. Ji Yun turned pale with shock, Yuan, Mr. Yuan, you. What good thing did he do again, to let Yuan Mingqi find him? He's just an ordinary person, and he can't afford to mess with these inhuman bosses. Don't panic. Yuan Mingqi smiled slightly, I just came to discuss with you the game plot of Oracle Elf and the character settings in it. Ji Yun breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that it was just discussing games, and he thought Yuan Mingqi wanted to fight with him. 30 minutes later, Ji Yun slumped on the chair with blank eyes, losing the light of life. Just now, Yuan Mingqi seriously inquired about all the subsequent plots of Oracle Elf, and specifically asked him about the character traits of each hero. After seeing Quanmu Minjiao sitting at the side playing games with his mobile phone, and the familiar background music of Oracle Fairy came from inside, he suddenly realized. After feeling a few unkind eyes, Ji Yun tried his best to reduce his sense of existence. Little Bai Sci-fi called out to Bai Jinyu, who was also playing Oracle Fairy, come here quickly, and I'll take you to kill the new dungeon for the first time. Here we come. Bai Jinyu immediately put down her phone and came to the computer, Juju, I'm a lot better at playing games, and I even brought a beautiful sister to play the dungeon a few days ago. Hearing this sentence, Xiaoyu's eyelashes moved, and he was very calm. Sci-fi said, form a team. The live broadcast of the game starts at the same time. This is Sci-Fi's third game live broadcast after his return. Fans came after hearing the news. The team is full of glittering golden players who are the best players in the whole server. Zhang Changfeng and Zhang Changning were also there. The most eye-catching thing is 9 gods, the queen of 9 gods. Fans are even more excited. Wow, 9 gods are here too. It's 9 gods. It's been a long time since I saw 9 gods and 9 gods couple playing games together. What kind of couple is married? Cult CP go away, hold high the banner of selfish desire, don't you know that our selfish couple is the top CP? 9 gods, it's 9 gods, Jushin, if you don't make a move, your partner will be abducted by others. Damn it, it is clear that the double 9 group is the eternal god, and 9 sings Jusui. I have always been a fan of the two great gods, why was it cut off halfway by others? I support Jushin as always, Jushin and 9 god are a perfect match. 9 gods, don't feel inferior, although the other party is both the president of RM and the chief executive of Zero, you are the only god of Oracle who can stand alongside God 9, I love you. As soon as this barrage was posted, it was followed by I love you and support Jushin snatching marriage. Sci blinked, Jushin, how do you feel? Well, thank you Uzion finally spoke, her voice was cold, calm, and quiet, I'm not inferior, it's me too, no need to argue, you can continue to support. Zhang Changfeng was expressionless. It has been many years, and he has long been used to Sci and Uzion's speeches regardless of other people's lives. I went to the hospital in the middle of the night, sorry for the late cook. Class day for double monthly pass. Babies who still have monthly tickets don't forget to vote. Xiaoyu, why the part above the neck? Author, because I can't write below the neck carrot. Carrot. P.S. I never thought about it, I would get a low score because Ying Huang did not appear in the main text of King King's book. I said at the beginning that the guest appearance is just a side story, and the plots of each book are independent without any intersection. I like Ying Huang, you can read one book over and over again. This book belongs to the story of Qing Qing and other supporting characters. Everyone give Qing Qing a 5-star rating. In Ying Huang, no one gave me a low star because I said that Zun's main cameo was also a guest in the extra episode, it's also my own problem. I wanted to fill in all the pitfalls and write some details. And as soon as possible. At that time, I will discuss with the publishing editor to put some extras in the physical book. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1046. Chapter 1028. The collapse of the world is so common, I like you very much. Many years later, Zhang Changfeng will always remember how Sci calmly said to him in the variety show 66 Days to Survive. Let me introduce myself again, I'm 9. Facial paralysis belongs to facial paralysis, but he is an ordinary person with a normal mind. At the very beginning, Zhang Changfeng couldn't calm down. But later, this kind of thing happened more and more, and he got used to it. A very twisted habit. But he got used to it, but the public couldn't calm down. The bullet screen in the live broadcast room was emptied in an instant, and it was clean. The fans were obviously stunned by Uzion's understatement. There was a full 30 seconds of silence, and the overwhelming question marks and exclamation points flooded the live screen. 9 gods, don't scare me, you are a technical gamer, you can't have anything in common with Chief Zero and Chief RM. Etc. How come there is nothing in common? I heard that Chief Zero terrified those transnational criminals, and 9 gods also terrified the boss in the game. No, no, no. The two are still different. Chief Zero is clearly the kind who goes in and out of the mountain of corpses and sea of blood with a sword. Our 9 gods are watching the fire from the other side, killing people invisible, and our clothes will not be stained with blood. Anyway, I don't believe it, Jushin hasn't even shown his face. Si raised his eyebrows, What to do, they don't believe it. Uzion glanced at the live broadcast for a while, and said in a calm voice, "Wait a moment." He raised his hand and turned on the camera. In the next second, a box appeared in the lower right corner of the live broadcast screen. At this moment, all the netizens watching the live broadcast could see a man in a dark gray suit, with a white shirt and tie inside, and the wristwatch and the light reflected from the cuffs matched each other, showing his dignity. His brows and eyes are calm, his pupils are deep and deep, like floating emerald greens, with faint lights fading away. All emotions are restrained deep in the bottom of the eyes, it is difficult to distinguish the depth. It's really hard to imagine such a pair of slender hands being suitable for keyboards and weapons at the same time. Netizens. Netizens couldn't calm down. Brothers and sisters, I am split. I'm cracked too, where's my head, where's my chin, it's over and I can't find it. The next time I reveal myself, can I give an early warning? Let me take a medicine first, my heart can't take it. Pre-warning is obviously impossible. Obviously, whether it is 9 God or 9 gods, they will always give you a painful blow inadvertently. Let alone, I will drink saliva first and slowly. Wivu Ching Ching doesn't love us anymore, she won't tell us, no wonder 9 gods are only good to God. Nin, you two must have known each other's identity for a long time. I'm wronged, I really didn't know at the beginning. Sci-fi rubbed his chin. At that time, I picked up the account to play the game again, and as soon as I logged in, I was instantly killed by your 9 gods. Let him cut down a few streets. Later, I forgot to change my voice when I was forming a team. He recognized my voice, and we fought against each other offline. Uzion didn't refute, he just tilted his head, his eyes soft and smiling. Yes. I love to hear, 9 gods chasing wife crematorium. I'm so spoiled, when will the two officially announce their marriage? Wait for the official announcement, it is unreasonable not to invite people from all over the world to a banquet. Soon, some netizens picked up a video of Sci-fi leading the Wazoo team to participate in the finals a few years ago. In it, Jushin and 9 God were in the same frame, but Jushin was wearing a mask, but the mask could not cover him body and temperament. And because of the outstanding temperament and perfect body shape, many people searched for a long time but failed to find someone who could match the number. Now, Jushin's true identity has been revealed. Netizens compared this photo in the same frame with Uzion's photo to confirm that the match is correct. Hashtag Uzion Hashtag the man with triple identities Hashtag self-desire couple Hashtag double 9 combination Hashtag. The hot search exploded unexpectedly. At the same moment, Sang Yanking's cell phone was blown up. MS Sang, didn't we make an agreement? The caller was the head of Weibo's program department. He wanted to cry, if such a big event happens again, let's say hello in advance. Although what should collapse will still collapse, but a planned collapse is better than a sudden collapse. Sang Yanking almost didn't know the word collapse, she said tactfully, we can't blame Ching Ching this time, she didn't do it. Why not? It is. The semi-bald head of the program department was very excited. Do they still need to separate from each other? I have seen through it a long time ago. It's not that the family does not enter the family, and the wife sings and the husband follows. Sang Yanking. This made sense, and she couldn't refute it. After soothing the few hairs of the injured head of the program department, Sang Yanking called Sci-fi. At this moment, Sci-fi brought Bai Jinyu into the dungeon, and she pressed the answer button with one free hand. After listening to Sang Yanking's instructions, Sci-fi said very sincerely, I will definitely remind Aju to pay attention next time. Sang Yanking, otherwise, I don't need it. Anyway, Weibo has already collapsed, and you will get used to it when it breaks down. Programmers must get used to losing their hair. If there is too much hair loss, they can replace it with a stainless steel basin. She figured it out, Even if her artiste remembered to say hello in advance, the bosses around her artiste didn't have this awareness. Today is Yu Zion, tomorrow it might be Zhang Changfeng. Quack quack quack, I guess the program department must have found Sister Sang again, it's so miserable. If I were a programmer, I would have to go crazy. Two great gods, please take care of the hair of the programmers. The news quickly spread overseas. Oracle has billions of players. As soon as the news came out, the global esports circle was shocked, especially the Zishan team preparing for this year's OP League. 5 years have passed, and Kill, who once competed with Sci-fi, is already 25 years old. He retired from the Zishan team at the beginning of this year, and occasionally broadcasts games live. After being defeated by Sci-fi and Yu Zion, Kill reflected for a long time, and finally restrained his own arrogance, paid attention to other contestants, and played many friendly matches with other esports players from other Empire principalities. Although the Zishan team was defeated by the Wuzhou team, it has gained more fans in recent years. But Kill became famous at a young age, and his pride is indelible, and he will still secretly compete with the members of the 5 states team. He is full of admiration for Sci-fi, but he will compare himself with Jushin from time to time. Until this moment, Kill was convinced and updated his tweet on his public social platform. At Kill, I'm autistic, no one is good at playing games, and no one is good looking, so I packed up and went back to farming. God K, don't be autistic, we are humans, and humans cannot be compared with perverts. Hiss, has God K ever thought about what if you can't compare to others in farming? Farming also requires skills, and growing flowers will also kill you. We are not suitable for farming. Be obedient and be a game anchor with peace of mind. After being comforted by fans all over the world, Kill became more autistic. Aside from being autistic, he still remembered sending congratulatory telegrams to Sci-fi and Yu Zion. The first kill of the new copy of Oracle undoubtedly fell into the hands of Sci-fi. Although Bai Jinyu was late in playing games, her skills were not bad. She cheerfully put away the god-level equipment that Sci-fi gave her. Xiaoyu glanced at the closed live broadcast room, and finally said slowly, "Take your beautiful sister to play games." "What's the matter, isn't it allowed?" Bai Jinyu said confidently, "I only play with my beautiful sister, not you." Allowed. Xiaoyu did not bully her, but said, "I will allow you to do whatever you want." Bai Jinyu immediately took a step back and stammered, you, 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 you. Sweet words, Xiaoyu repeated, with a lazy expression, "It's not possible." "I won't listen." Bai Jinyu covered her ears, "You black sesame glutinous rice balls." She quickly packed her bag, ran out of the banquet hall door, and returned to the villa. At this time, Feng San, 11 Zhang, and Shen Ying were chatting while weeding in the garden, and Bai Jinyu greeted them happily. "Miss Bai," Feng San was extremely moved, "you finally remember me." Bai Jinyu patted her head in embarrassment, "I don't know that I lost my memory several times, it's okay, I remember it all now, I remember Xiao Sanzan, you ran with me." Feng San. 3 seconds later, he said quietly, "Can you stop Miss Suisi from calling me that?" Bai Jinyu categorically refused, "No." Zijiang glanced behind her, "Miss Xiaobai, Mr. Xie didn't send you back." Hearing Xiaoyu's name, Bai Jinyu's nerves tensed instantly, "Why did he send me back?" Zijiang blurted out, "Because Mr. Xie and you are always inseparable, as long as he is not filming, he will always look at you." Bai Jinyu stopped, and ran to Zijiang, "Go on. During the time you were in a coma, Mr. Xie became very scary." 11 Zhang thought for a while, then lowered his voice and said, "He didn't even smile anymore, and even Miss Si said that he was a different person from me." Same. Bai Jinyu was stunned. Zhejiang didn't notice any abnormalities in her, and said to himself, Miss Bai, you suddenly had a high fever, and Miss Si said that this is a normal phenomenon of the fusion of soul and body, but Mr. Xie guarded you for 5 consecutive days. For 5 days and nights, I didn't close my eyes. Not sleeping for 5 days and 5 nights is nothing to a transcendent a grade evolutionary, not to mention that Xiaoyu had already entered the Holy Spirit realm at that time. Bai Jinyu's fingers tightened. Well, I see. Miss Xiaobai, I have never seen someone as dedicated as Mr. Xie. Zhejiang sighed, better than me, I want to learn from him. Bai Jinyu didn't hear these words, she left the villa again, and rode to the Supernatural Administration Bureau. Shen Ying put down the broom, and finally looked at Zhejiang. Actually, you don't need to say the latter sentence. Why? Zhejiang was puzzled. I'm not wrong, Mr. Xie is very dedicated to his work, he is indeed a student brought out by Miss Si, a workaholic. Shen Ying looked at him with pity, because Brother Nine will only send you to the extreme north and ask you to guard the border, but if it were Mr. Xie, he would really beat you. Canyoning. Why? Paranormal authority. After Bai Jinyu recovered her memory, she was very familiar with the way here. The guards of the Spirit League also knew her and greeted her friendly. Jinyu is here. Seeing Bai Jinyu, Yun Fengzi was a little surprised. Did you come to see you? He felt a little uncomfortable, so he lay down when he came back. Uncomfortable, Bai Jinyu became nervous. Can I go and have a look? Of course, this kid likes you the most, Yun Fengzi said. You can go and have a look. Bai Jinyu nodded and went to Xiaoyu's bedroom. She knocked on the door, but there was no response. She couldn't help feeling a little worried, so she pushed the door open and went in. Inside the room, the young man was lying quietly on the bed, his eyes were tightly closed, and there was fine sweat on his forehead. Could it be a fever? Bai Jinyu stepped forward and stretched out his hand to test the temperature of his forehead. But when he just touched his skin, he suddenly opened his eyes, and instantly grabbed her wrist. In the next second, the world spun, and she was pressed down by Xiaoyu's chest. Bai Jinyu opened her eyes wide. Thank you. She looked at him as if he was a little uncomfortable, and came to see him kindly, but he actually pressed her under him. Hateful. If you want to suppress, she will do it. He didn't let her go, but just looked at her with his brows tightly frowned, but there was extreme paranoia hidden in his lazy eyes. She had never seen him like this. Bai Jinyu's heart skipped a beat. You. The young man's eyes were a little blurred, obviously not in the state. After a few seconds, he seemed to recognize the person under his pressure, and his expression was shaken for a moment. Sorry, I had a nightmare. Xiaoyu held his head with one hand and sat up slowly. Did it scare you? Bai Jinyu shook her head. She leaned over, raised her hand and touched his forehead again. I don't have a fever, what's the matter? Xiaoyu didn't speak. Bai Jinyu asked again, is there something uncomfortable? At that time, I was pushed out of the eternal continent by you. He looked at her quietly, and suddenly said, I don't know anything, I can only see the fur you gave me gradually disappear into nothingness. He couldn't catch it, and he couldn't keep it. The power he possessed told him in this moment how terrible the word powerless was. Xiaoyu paused, and finally asked the question, what were you thinking at that time? Bai Jinyu was stunned, and she whispered, because it's dangerous, you will definitely die under the Holy Spirit realm, you are so kind to me, I don't want you to die. Xiaoyu stretched out his hand, wanting to caress her face, but stopped in mid-air, just smiled, I'm also very afraid that you just disappeared. Bai Jinyu's identity and bloodline are special, except for Sci-fucking, no one can recall her soul and reshape her body. Even Sci-fucking had ruined half of his cultivation. He guarded her for 3 years, and she was finally able to stand in front of him again, so vivid. Bai Jinyu looked at him blankly. His hand finally touched her face. I like you very much, just because of you. Thank you, brother. Come on. That's right, some baby guessed it, there are two small worlds in Tanjingmo's search for Lu Qingning, one is protected by the Lord, and the other is protected by the Emperor Ying. It's coming soon. These two small worlds can be written, and they are a series of short stories. Thank you for your support for Fanwai. Sister Ye Wanlan's book really doesn't know when it will be released, and the editor also asked me if I could start a new book immediately after the end. The main reason is that I have no inspiration for the time being. This is why I will write a longbook for this episode of Ching Ching. I want everyone to see more. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1047. Chapter 1029. All wishes come true, exposed, Sci-fi found out. He met many people along the way, but they were just passing by, leaving no trace in his life. He didn't think about who he would fall in love with, and he never thought about who he would guard so patiently. But as many people say, one day, you will meet a person who is as gorgeous as a rainbow, and from then on, everything else will be like floating clouds. Sri Lankan people are like rainbows, you will know when you meet them. Baijinyu stared at him blankly, and was bewitched by his eyebrows for a moment, so she lost her mind. His confession was not warm and wild, but it enveloped her heart like a fire, igniting all the cells in her body bit by bit. The fireworks are in full bloom, and the stars and the moon are bright. Xiaobai, he called her suddenly, his fox eyes curled up, I'm waiting for your answer, I have a lot of time now. So many that one could spend a lifetime waiting for the answer. Baijinyu's hand was still held by him, the temperature of her body was rising rapidly again, her cheeks were hot. During her so many days and nights, no matter whether she was sleeping in the eggshell or breaking out of the eggshell to find Si-fucking, Baijinyu only knew Si-fucking alone. She was a little worried that no one really liked her except Si-fucking. Because although she has been able to transform, she is still of the blood of Pixiu after all, not a pure human being. She is not someone who is easily moved, but when she heard 11 Zhang say that Xiaoyu guarded her for 5 days without closing his eyes, and went to find her medicine, her heart would still be shaken. Except for Si-fucking, no one is willing to give everything for her. Baijinyu lowered her head, her voice was also very low, then what if you don't like me one day? I don't want to make empty promises, it makes me look like an irresponsible scumbag. Xiaoyu chuckled, but I will still say that I will love you very much in my whole life. It was very plain, without too much embellishment, but it made Baijinyu's heart skip a beat. Xiaoyu looked at her quietly, then said again, I can wait. Baijinyu tilted her head, looked at him for a while, and twisted her eyes for a while, okay then. As soon as these words came out, Xiaoyu's pupils shrank instantly, and his gaze was also empty. For the first time, he failed to react immediately. Baijinyu stretched out her hand in front of him suspiciously and shook it, Yu, what's the matter with you? Xiaoyu came back to his senses, I can't believe it, but I'm too happy. Are you that happy? Baijinyu looked at him, too happy will make you lose your mind. And Xiaoyu responded lightly, it's not impossible. He lowered his head and lowered his voice, I want to be happier. Baijinyu was confused, I promised you, how can you be happier? He raised his eyebrows and said in a leisurely tone, kiss me. Baijinyu was shocked by his shamelessness. But obviously Xiaoyu didn't have any shame. She covered her mouth and said righteously, you can't kiss now. Xiaoyu blinked, huh. After a pause, he seemed to sigh, but Xiaobai, you stole my first kiss, aren't you responsible? Then, I was a puppy at that time, and I didn't understand anything. Baijinyu blurted out, that doesn't count, and you were kissed by a puppy. You couldn't do it yourself. Okay, it doesn't count. Xiaoyu leaned back a little, and found an angle to lie down, then Xiaobai, come here. Bai Jinyu. His shamelessness was beyond her imagination, and she hadn't even noticed it before. Juju said, all boyfriends have to have a probationary period. Bai Jinyu imitated Sci-fucking and raised her hand, making a cross in front of her chest. You haven't passed the probationary period yet, the most you can do is hold hands. Xiaoyu was very patient. How long is the trial period? I don't know either. Bai Jinyu blinked. I'll investigate first. As she spoke, she snorted again. I'll tell Juju about your existence after you pass the probationary period. Xiaoyu paused when he heard the words, raised his hand to touch the center of his eyebrows. This is not urgent. He really didn't think about how to explain to Sci-fucking. Bai Jinyu fumbled in his pocket, and took out a kit. This is for you. In the kit is a golden pixie hair. Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows. Didn't you already give it? This is different from ordinary pixie hair. Bai Jinyu was very proud. You can use this hair to summon me, and I can appear by your side at any time. Except for you, I only gave it to Juju. Is that so? Xiaoyu was thoughtful, and suddenly laughed lazily. Xiaobai's dowry. Nonsense. No, Bai Jinyu stared at him. Even if it is, it's my betrothal gift for you. Okay. Xiaoyu's voice was gentle. I'll wait for you to marry me in 8 palanquins. Bai Jinyu. Mad at her. She is too kind to say no to black sesame glutinous rice balls. I'll go first. Bai Jinyu stood up and waved. But as soon as she walked to the door, she returned to the bed in the next second, and fell into Xiaoyu's arms, hitting her head on his chin, and she clearly heard him let out a very soft moan. Apixia was a little confused. What's the situation? Xiaoyu was playing with the pixie hair with one hand, and a voice came from above her head. Her chest vibrated slightly because of her laughter. Very amazing pixie hair, thank you Xiaobai, I like it very much. Bai Jinyu finally understood what was going on. She immediately turned over, and was so angry that she picked up the pillow and hit her. Xiaoyu. You big villain. Don't call me for nothing, or I will ignore you. After finishing speaking, Bai Jinyu turned into a pixie in an instant, jumped out of the window and ran away. After landing, she turned back into a human body again. As soon as he left the yard, he happened to meet Yun Fengzi, who picked Xia Yangkai back. Xiaobai. Xia Yangkai was very happy to see her. Why do you suddenly have time to come over today? If you come, you can stay here. If you need anything, let that stinky boy, you, take care of it, and you can rest assured. On. No, no need, and Xia Bai Jinyu was a little nervous. I still have something to do, and I'm going back to school. Hey, what a pity. Well, I'll let Au take you back. Xia Yangkai was a little disappointed. I heard that this kid is not feeling well when I came back. I'm afraid 90% is just pretending. Bai Jinyu was shocked. So Xiaoyu was so dark before. No, no, no. There's no need for it. Bai Jinyu was not as comfortable facing Xia Yangkai now. I really have something urgent. She ran fast again. Yun Fengzi was a little puzzled. Xiao Bai used to be quite clingy to Au, why now he ran away after hearing Au's name? Xia Yangkai was also very confused, and suddenly she punched the tree. Could it be that brat bullying Xiao Bai? I'll go over and have a look. Yun Fengzi hurriedly followed. The couple came to Xiaoyu's yard. Xia Yangkai knocked on the door, but there was no response from inside. She was even more puzzled. She clearly heard a slightly rapid breathing. The door was not locked, so Xia Yangkai pushed the door directly and went in. Xiaoyu was still leaning on the bed, staring at the kit in his hand in a daze. Stinky boy, what are you laughing at? Xia Yangkai frowned at him, goosebumps all over his body. My teeth are sour from laughing. She has never seen Xiaoyu smile like this. Xiaoyu slowly suppressed his smile, and said casually, if there are happy things, it is natural to laugh. What's the matter? Xia Yangkai was rarely curious. Your dad and I came back to meet Xiaobai just now, and I told you to see her off, but she scared her away when she heard your name. Did you bully him? Hearing the sound, Xiaoyu slowly raised his eyelashes. How could I be willing to bully her? If you bully her, I will be the first to disagree. Xia Yangkai nodded. Your father said you are not feeling well. How are you doing now? Okay. Xiaoyu supported his head with one hand, and suddenly called out, Ms. Xia. Xia Yangkai glanced at him sideways. Tell me, what can I ask for? Xiaoyu spoke very politely, with a gentle voice. Please prepare a dowry for me and add more gold so that I can marry in the future. Xia Yangkai. Could it be that this kid has been under too much pressure for more than 20 years and finally went crazy? Xia Yangkai was worried, and planned to go to the Miracle Doctor League to ask Xiaoyu an elder to come and have a look. Xiata. Female undergraduate dormitory. Bai Jinyu rushed all the way back to the dormitory, and after sitting on the seat, she was still out of breath. She drank a bottle of water to calm down. Her heart was still beating very fast. She was with Xiaoyu like this? She did plan to find a male pixie before. The phone dinged at this moment, as if it had calculated the time for her to go back. Black sesame glutinous rice balls, good night. Bai Jinyu didn't reply to him, but just stared at this WeChat in a daze. Yo, you're smiling so happily, can't you be in a real relationship? Bian Suiyan patted her shoulder from behind her. Tell me, I'll check it out for you. Yan Yan, how do you tell if a person really likes you? Bai Jinyu held her chin. Is there any way? Isn't that simple? Bian Suiyan became interested, and she gossiped. Is he thinking of various ways to get close to you all the time? Bai Jinyu was taken aback for a moment. Okay, it seems to be. Bian Suiyan counted on her fingers. Then does he give you all the good things? Bai Jinyu nodded. He's been staring at you. Bai Jinyu nodded again. Bian Suiyan's curiosity was aroused all at once. This must be like, who is who? Bai Jinyu, is there anything else? Bian Suiyan thought for a while, then slapped her hands. So, you can ask him if you become a caterpillar, would he still like you? Bai Jinyu is a good child who is thirsty for knowledge. She asked modestly, why is it a caterpillar? Big cockroaches are fine too. That's still a caterpillar. Bai Jinyu made a decision in her heart. Tomorrow, the crew of Chengxian will be filming a few Easter eggs in the Eternal Continent, so she will turn into a caterpillar and ask Xiaoyu. The next day, at noon. After class, Bai Jinyu went to the Eternal Continent. As a mythical beast, she can easily go back and forth between the two worlds just like Sci-fi and Uzion. After 3 months of filming, Tang Haiqiu was as calm as before. Even if he saw Pixie turn into a living person, he would greet him friendly. Yuya Bai Jinyu hook Xiaoyu, come here, I have something to say to you. The relationship between one person and one Pixie is already very good, and it has not attracted too much attention from others. Xiaoyu walked over and said kindly, what? Bai Jinyu suddenly turned into a caterpillar, and asked sternly, if I turned into a caterpillar, would you still like me? Xiaoyu paused and lowered his head slowly. In the next second, another caterpillar appeared in front of Bai Jinyu. Bai Jinyu turned pale with shock. What are you doing? Although it is said that the peak of the Holy Spirit realm can change appearance at will, but why does he have to change like this? Xiaoyu said slowly, accompany you to become a caterpillar. You said that cross-species love has no good results, but now it does. Bai Jinyu. Xiaoyu blinked lightly, I have also become a caterpillar, what will happen to you? Bai Jinyu, I will shoot you to death. She immediately changed back to human form and took a few steps back to hide behind the tree. You, change back. As the mythical beast Pixiu, She has a very shameful and unspeakable shortcoming. She is afraid of bugs except butterflies. Xiaoyu naturally wouldn't bully her in this kind of thing. He also recovered his human body, and walked towards her. What new game are you playing again? Bai Jinyu checked her fingers. I'm afraid you don't really like me. Xiaoyu was startled, then chuckled. How could that be? Bai Jinyu turned her head away. Next time I will use another method. Others, Xiaoyu pondered. I wonder if you will turn into a big cockroach again to test me. Bai Jinyu, stop mentioning bugs. She throws in the towel. Xiaoyu laughed again and stopped bullying her. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the two returned to Siju City together. I have class at 4 o'clock, so I have to hurry back. Bai Jinyu looked left and right. I can make another appointment at night. Xiaoyu nodded slightly. Can you hold hands? Bai Jinyu stretched out her hand. Here. He held her hand and sent her all the way back to Seata. I'm here. Bai Jinyu raised her head. You can go. Before Xiaoyu could answer, the phone rang. Bai Jinyu immediately picked it up. 99. On the other end of the phone, Sci-fi's tone was quite calm. Well, where are you? Bai Jinyu nervously looked at the hands she and Xiaoyu held together. Yanyan and I are going to the library to study. The midterm exam is coming soon. When she said this, she immediately pulled her hand back forcefully, but as soon as she made a movement, Xiaoyu noticed it and held her hand even tighter. Bai Jinyu stared at him, and said silently with her mouth, It's Juju's call, we haven't confessed to her yet, let me think about how to confess. Xiaoyu sighed, Xiao Bai, turn your head. Bai Jinyu was dumbfounded. At the same time, a voice rang through the receiver. Sci raised his eyebrows, and said slowly, Really, but why did I see you standing at Xia's gate hand in hand with a black-hearted monster? Caught off guard to meet the parents. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1048. Chapter 1030 from Sci-fi's trial, Xiaoyu's funder. To be precise, this sentence also came from across the road. Very clear, no current noise in the earpiece. Time stood still at this moment. Bai Jinyu raised her head stiffly, staring blankly at the girl standing at the door of first mate Xia. Her brain froze at this moment. One of her and Xiaoyu is a pixia with the blood of a beast, and the other is a peak of the Holy Spirit realm who is about to enter the spiritual god realm. Naturally, she can really achieve the transparent physique rumored in the entertainment industry. So along the way, they did not attract the attention of passers-by at all. Otherwise, given the popularity of Xiaoyu's face, fans would recognize him even if he was fully armed and wearing sunglasses and a mask. Bai Jinyu felt relieved because of this. But she never expected that Sci would appear at this time. In front of the nine heavens goddess, everything is nothing. Bai Jinyu was still in a daze, and even Sci didn't notice when he came over. Xiaoyu obviously found out earlier than her, so he was more calm, and raised his hand specifically to say hello, teacher Sci. Sci ignored him. She gave him a cold look, then her eyes only fell on Bai Jinyu, and she only said two words, come here. The voice was quite gentle, but Bai Jinyu heard a feeling that made her hairs stand on end. She immediately ran forward, took Sci hand and shook it, coquettishly, Juju, don't train me. I'll teach you what to do. Sci pulled her behind him, and said unhurriedly, I don't know what kind of emotional intelligence you have. Give you a piece of gold and you run away with it, and you are a face control. I used to love to jump into his arms, it's not like I can't see it. Bai Jinyu. She took a quick look at Xiaoyu. The young man almost had the words little white trap written on his face. So in Juju's eyes, is she actually such a pixie? Woohoo, her image as a beast is gone. Juju. Bai Jinyu pinched the corner of her clothes and explained in a low voice, I used to like to pounce on him because he resembles you, and you are my favorite. Si fucking hummed lightly, and said lightly, "No wonder you asked me what to do if you kissed someone else before you recovered. It turns out that this other person is your reputation." Bai Jinyu immediately covered her mouth. I was still a puppy at that time, and he was still on probation, so I forbid him to kiss him. She was afraid that Si fucking would not believe her, so she quickly told the story of the previous forced kiss. Oh, Si fucking nodded slightly, his fox eyes curled up. One thinks the other party doesn't know, and the other pretends not to know. What a tacit understanding. Bai Jinyu hid behind her. That's right. I was so angry that he lied to me like this, so I beat him up. Speak. Si fucking crossed his arms and looked at Xiaoyu. Who taught you? Xiaoyu's eyelashes moved slightly, as if he didn't understand the sentence. Teacher Si. I understand Xiaobai's character. She is quite stupid, but she has a bottom line. Si Fu raised his eyebrows. If you don't have the next strong medicine, can you abduct her? Bai Jinyu. Is this praising her or scolding her? Don't tell me, right? Si fucking clenched his fists. We can have a friendly exchange, and I hope you will answer during this process. 5 minutes later. Xiaoyu was defeated. It's your majesty. This answer was expected by Si fucking. She smiled. Very well, there is one more prisoner, let's try together. On the other side, in the villa, Yu Zion was sitting on the sofa reviewing documents. When he was working, he would unconsciously let go of his aura. Although he was not on the throne at this time, he was still a 95-year-old man, born noble. Zhejiang and Fengsan moved away a little. The door is opened. Zhejiang immediately stood up straight. Miss Si. Fengsan added, Miss Xiaobai, Mr. Xie. Si fucking took Bai Jinyu's hand and let Xiaoyu walk in front. This scene made Zhejiang and Fengsan look at each other, both a little puzzled. Why is it so like escorting a prisoner? In the living room, Yu Zion heard footsteps. He put down the document, raised his head, and when he saw Xiaoyu, his eyebrows moved slightly. You, sit here. Si fucking pointed to the seat next to Yu Zion. Xiaobai, sit with me, don't even think about it. Xiaoyu sighed and had to sit down. Prisoner number 1 can speak now. Si fucking said, prisoner number 2 will make a statement later. Yu Zion glanced at Xiaoyu, his pupils shimmered and it was difficult to tell the depth. Xiaoyu raised his hand. I can't beat it. Yeah. Yu Zion rubbed the teacup with her slender fingers, smiling lightly. I can't beat it either. Prisoners are not allowed to communicate in private. Si Fu leaned on the sofa, start to make a statement and count down to 3 seconds. Xiaoyu was very calm and admitted all of them. There is something wrong in my heart, I have planned it for a long time. Si fucking, when did it start? Xiaoyu was stunned for a moment, and after a moment of silence, he slowly said, after returning to Liberty Continent. This answer surprised Si fucking a little. Her eyes narrowed slightly. At that time, Xiaobai couldn't transform into a human form. Yes. Xiaoyu seemed to be smiling. I liked her very much at that time. Bai Jinyu also opened her eyes wide, her heart skipping a beat. This time it was Si fucking's turn to be silent. After a long time, she said, Beast. Xiaoyu also admitted, I am. Si fucking turned his head and coughed. It's the turn of prisoner number 2. Yu Zion pondered for a moment, then smiled. Women sing and husbands follow. Si fucking instantly thought of how she taught Xiaobai to kiss him by precepts and deeds. Not only that, but she also thought of how she told Xiaoyu to let him take care of Xiaobai to prevent Xiaobai from being cheated by others. In the end, Xiaoyu himself was the big liar. Bai Jinyu obviously didn't understand. Juju, what do you mean? It doesn't mean anything. Si fucking rubbed his fists and gritted his teeth. I'm going to fight to the death with 2 black-hearted monsters today. Die. Black-hearted monsters. Half an hour later, Xiaoyu led Bai Jinyu back to Xia University again. Bai Jinyu coughed twice. Yu, Did Jeju really beat you up violently? I understand that she beat you up. She must be reluctant to beat His Majesty. Xiaoyu glanced at her lightly. I know her very well, but I didn't get beaten. It's not really a beating, but it's true that he kept it a secret. What's more, Sci-Fucking has always raised Bai Jinyu as his closest relative, but his daughter was suddenly abducted and sent away by himself, which is personally unacceptable. I knew it was forbidden to even hold hands. Bai Jinyu was very distressed. I should take it step by step, and this impact on Jeju is too great. No impact. Xiaoyu held her hand even tighter, and said lazily, I'm married. Bai Jinyu was shocked. What about the spirit alliance? Xiaoyu said in a leisurely tone, dowry. Bai Jinyu. She thought Aunt Xia would beat him to death. The aroma of sweet-scented Osman thus filled the entire student avenue, refreshing. As a Pixio in the past, she was well protected by Sci-Fucking, and she never thought that one day she would be able to transform into a human being and integrate into the campus. She likes this kind of life very much. I'm here. Bai Jinyu stood at the door of the dormitory and urged him, hurry up and leave. Xiaoyu didn't leave, but stretched out his hand and patted her head. What are you hiding from? Bai Jinyu stammered, also, there are still people. Wan, what if we are seen again? Well, I know. Xiaoyu lowered his eyelashes and stared at her. I like you, and I won't hide a single bit. Pounding. The tip of my heart seemed to be touched by something, and my heartbeat soared. Bai Jinyu ran away. After returning to the dormitory, she quickly washed her face with cold water and filled another bottle of water. Bai Jinyu secretly called Sci-Fucking, Jeju, I suspect that Yu has gone to study again. Huh, Sci-Fucking's fox eyes narrowed, how do you say? He said just now that he likes me. Bai Jinyu thought for a while, I'm too embarrassed to say that, but he ended up saying it one after another. Sci-Fucking fell silent. This is indeed Yu Xian's style. Yin Huang has always been concise and succinct, cherishing words like gold, but when it comes to confession, he is very eloquent, and he also said the longest thing he has ever said in his life. Is this the big black-hearted monster teaching the little black-hearted monster? Not bad at teaching? Bai Jinyu called her again, Jeju. Ah. Sci-Fu returned to his senses, and paused suspiciously, but now. Having said that, she suddenly stopped. Bai Jinyu was curious, what's the matter now? Sci-Fucking said expressionlessly, now he will express it through actions. Bai Jinyu became even more curious, what action? You are still young, there are some things you can't know now. Oh, Bai Jinyu obediently responded, Jeju, I will try my best to learn from you. Sci-Fucking. It's better not to learn about this from her. She simply misunderstood her son. 6 o'clock sharp, occult authority. The family is eating in a restaurant. Leader Yun stroked his beard, and said, Yan Yan, I see that Boyu seems to be a little out of order recently, ask him if something happened to him. Father, to tell you the truth, I also have the same feeling. Xia Yankai put down his chopsticks, I suspect that he has hit something wrong. Yun Fengzi snorted coldly, he's just pretending, ignore him. Xiaoyu came back at this time, he said unhurriedly, Dad, why are you making arrangements for me in front of Grandpa and Mom while I'm not here? Yo, I'm back. Xia Yankai glanced at Xiaoyu sideways, big star, where did you go shopping after filming? I didn't even see you when I went to your crew today. Xiaoyu sat down on the empty seat, and wrote lightly, accompany my girlfriend to catch dolls. The restaurant suddenly fell silent. Leader Yun dropped the bowl and hit his foot. Yun Fengzi spat out a sip of wine, his face flushed red from choking. What? Xia Yankai was the calmest, but he also turned pale with shock, and stuttered for the first time, you, 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 say it again. Xiaoyu didn't repeat it, he just said, you heard me right. What a boy, Xia Yankai slapped him on the head, which girl did you harm? Tell the truth, and you can still find a girlfriend. Yun Fengzi patted his chest and breathed a sigh of relief. Yan Yan, don't listen to him, he must be talking nonsense, how can girls fall in love with him? Xiaoyu said casually, she is shy, I will talk to her in a few days and bring her to see you. He had just endured Sci-Fi's anger today, and he needed to wait a while before welcoming Xia Yankai. Okay, that's the deal. Xia Yankai made a final decision, even if it's fake, you have to make it real for me. She wants to see which girl has such short eyes. 2 days later, Juzhong Entertainment, Muqing's studio. The manager was very upset. I said that Xiaoyu's return to filming TV dramas is not good for you. You have been robbed of all the limelight, and even the popularity of other supporting roles has gone up, but you have no splash. You have to think about it, there is a way. Muqing's expression turned cold in an instant. Then what do you think should be done? The agent took out his mobile phone and pushed it over. Look at this group of photos, they were just taken yesterday. Muqing frowned. The photos were full of Xiaoyu and a woman. The woman was wearing sunglasses and a mask, so she couldn't see her complete appearance, but her whole body was full of high-end luxury goods, obviously from a prominent family. The two of them entered all luxury stores, and Ian's black gold card appeared in it. There were only 10 of them in the world, and the card holders did not thank them. Muqing squinted his eyes, he's next to a rich woman. Xiaoyu's life experience has always been a mystery. However, during the performance of Youth and Youth, family members recorded a video to canvass votes for support, and Xiaoyu's rich background also caused a wave of waves. Only 3 or 4 years have passed, and it has been forgotten by the public. If it wasn't shameful, why didn't he even show his face? What's more, Xiaoyu has been on top of resources since his debut. At that time, Sci-Fi was only his mentor and did not give him follow-up support. That's right, the manager nodded slowly, and you said that Xiaoyu stuffed his girlfriend into the crew, if his financial backer knows. Muqing smiled, okay, I know what to do. That night, a trending search came out, and it was directly listed as the #1 trending search on the entertainment list. #explode 90 million male top love #. Top male with 90 million fans, why don't you just write Xiaoyu's name? It's gone, every time I say something top notch, but in the end it's an 18th tier star, no one cares, no one pays attention. Even if it's Xiaoyu, what's wrong, 26 people, can't talk about love anymore? Hey, which sister has a crush on our brother Xia, can he stand such a black heart and poisonous tongue? A younger sister has accepted our brother Xia, take good care of him. Xiaoyu's fans obviously have a completely different style of painting than other male star fans, and they also have an attitude of eating melons. At this moment, all the marketing accounts supported by Juzhong Entertainment were linked together. At V, some insiders said that the male protagonist of The Secret of the World was originally a 2-character top class in Juzhong Entertainment. GN single-handedly promoted him as the hottest male star in the film industry, but he didn't know that the reason why the top male star came to the film crew was to pick up girls, and he even stuffed his lover into the film crew. The rich woman is really pitiful. I hope I can see the male star clearly sooner. There are pictures to prove the true face of the top class. Image. Ching who sent Xiaobai out with her own hands, the fist is hard. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1049. Chapter 1031 Clarification, the young leader of our Spirit League. Thank you Gold Master Xiaoyu behind the rich woman Xiaoyu, Step on two boats hashtag. Xiaoyu's temperament has always been loose, and he has not signed any entertainment company. There is even only one person in the studio team for new media announcements. He was a top-notch when he debuted, and he participated in the shooting of sci-fi films by international directors, stabilizing his position in the film industry in one fell swoop. Last year, he also started a global tour, with a total of 66 concerts, each of which sang and danced for 4 hours without a break. An artist at Xiaoyu's level doesn't have any substantive scandals, and he doesn't care about the rumors on the internet. As soon as these black hot searches came out, Xiaoyu's team did not respond as quickly as Juzhong Entertainment, a company that is good at building traffic stars. It's fake. When Xiaoyu debuted, Goddess SI didn't give him the resources. The problem is that his first starring movie won a global box office of 3 billion, and the subsequent resources were all based on his strength. A picture at the beginning, the follow-up is all based on making up. You rely on brother Xia not to go online. After he sees it, all the rumor mongers will have to go in. It is true that Xiaoyu snatched Mu Qing's male lead. No wonder Xiaoyu, who has been making movies, suddenly started to act in TV dramas. It turned out that he wanted to praise his little lover. Mu Qing and Qin Ziyu both belong to Juzhong Entertainment. The latter became popular by constantly imitating SI fucking, and the former's target is Xiaoyu. Mu Qing's fans have long regarded the TV series The Art of the World as Mu Qing's possession, but the crew suddenly announced their thanks to Yu. The fans were naturally wronged for Mu Qing and very angry. Although Qin Ziyu has learned from the past, for fans, as long as the house does not collapse on them, they will always firmly believe that their idol will never be wrong. Please Xiaoyu to return Mu Qing's male lead to him. Can't you take your little lover to act in a movie? Our Mu Qing had a hard time getting a heroic fairy drama, but in the end it was snatched away by more hard-working people in the background. Did someone find out who that rich woman is? Hurry up and send the photo to the rich woman. Let the rich woman take a look. Don't be fooled by Xiaoyu. At this time, Yun Fengzi was shopping with Xia Yangqiu. Lan launched a new ready-to-wear series today, and SI fucking participated in the design. Xia Yangqiu also had a rare vacation, so he rushed over at the first time. Yun Fengzi is responsible for carrying the bag. Although both of them were wearing masks, their temperament was extremely outstanding, which attracted the attention of many people around them. The most eye-catching thing is that the clothes Xia Yangqiu is wearing today are exactly the same as when she took Xiaoyu to buy clothes that day. Xiaoyu's name is still on the hot search list, and there are a lot of people who eat melons. Soon someone took a picture of the scene and posted it online. People are on the scene. This is the rich woman who took care of Xiaoyu, right? The rich woman is really rich. She is able to enter Ian's first stage, and her temperament is also very outstanding. She is definitely from a wealthy family, not a nouveau riche. To enter Ian's starting infield, at least spend more than 1 billion in land, but he is really rich. Wait, isn't the rich woman next to her husband? The two seem to be a good match. In this case, what is Xiaoyu? Xiaoyu couldn't have become a male mistress, right? I heard that rich wives and rich people play very messy. I also heard it from hearsay. Please don't take it seriously. There was a new round of topics and discussions on the internet. More and more photos of Xia Yangqiu and Yun Fengzi in the same frame were also posted on the internet, including various angles. Netizens finally judged that they must be husband and wife based on the close distance between the two in the photo. Yun Fengzi naturally sensed the frequent glances around him. He lowered his voice and asked, Yan, do you think they look at us a little strangely? Oh, Xia Yangqiu didn't care at all, and was very perfunctory. Maybe, I'm in a good mood today, and I'll buy you some clothes. Yun Fengzi really forgot about the others. He happily followed Xia Yangqiu to buy clothes. His family status is much higher than Xiaoyu's. Xia Yangqiu also noticed that someone was taking pictures of her. She looked over indifferently. The other party was so frightened that he couldn't hold the camera steadily, and he left in a bit of embarrassment holding his photography equipment. Check what happened on the internet. Xia Yangkai kept an eye out, and called butler Yun, go to the brat crew to see. The framed photo of Yun Fengzi and Xia Yangkai was sent to Juzhong Entertainment and placed in front of Mu Cheng. Looking at this group of photos, the manager was overjoyed. Isn't Xia Yu committing suicide? If the other party's husband finds out about his existence, he will definitely not be able to stay in the entertainment industry any longer. Mu Cheng snorted slightly, then he just deserved it. Qin Zhao failed to force Sci-fi to leave, but he was able to make Xia Yu step down. He and Xia Yu had already taken the same route. If Xia Yu quit the entertainment industry, he could accept Xia Yu's fans wantonly. This is indeed a good thing for you. The manager nodded and agreed. There are too many right and wrong in our circle, and Xia Yu's resources are so good, it is inevitable to have a financial backer, even if it turns out to be fake. Yes, it will also hurt his vitality. Mu Cheng finally showed a smile. The agent also hurriedly contacted the marketing accounts of Shuahun and Self-Support, and once again carried out the whole network linkage. #shock. The rich woman has already married. #Xia Yu, male little 3 #. According to insiders, the rich woman has a husband today. The rich woman and her husband participated in the Langzhen series debut in Field. The two are very affectionate. Isn't Xia Yu really destroying other people's families? It is also possible that Xia Yu knew that he had no hope of becoming a leader, so he used the rich woman's money to support his true love. At this moment, the crew of The Art of the World. Xia Yu is still filming. Bai Jinyu was squatting aside and reading the script. Mr. Xia, the assistant director hurried over, take a look at Weibo, something has happened. Xia Yu turned his head, put down the spear in his hand, wiped his hands and walked over. What's the matter? Some people say that you have a lover with a rich woman. The assistant director wiped off his sweat. Some people say that you, oh. You'd better see for yourself. Xia Yu narrowed his eyes and took the assistant director's cell phone. Bai Jinyu also ran over slowly. She probed through the text, recognized Xia Yangkai from the photo, and was a little dumbfounded for a moment. Why didn't I understand? She knows every word in the marketing account, why can't she read it together? Xia Yu hummed lightly, I didn't quite understand it either. Bai Jinyu reasoned for a long time, and finally figured it out. She snapped her fingers, so the rich woman refers to Aunt Xia, and the lover refers to me. It looks like it is. Xia Yu raised his eyebrows with a lazy expression. He still has some skills. The assistant director was in a hurry. Mr. Xia, don't you want to refute the rumors? The public opinion on this incident has indeed impacted The Art of the World, and many people asked for Xia Yu to be replaced under the Weibo of the crew, and to recast the cast. But the director team knows the inside story, and will not believe in such untrue public opinion. Yes, Xia Yu said lightly, I'll let them start the press conference. The assistant director was taken aback. Xia Yu has been hacked for so many years since his debut, but he has never held a press conference. Xia Yu calmly made a phone call. Well, yes, I will clarify. Where is Ms. Xia? Okay. After the call was over, he sat down on the chair and raised his hand to press the center of his brow. Don't be sad. Bai Jinyu stretched out her hand and patted his head. It's just that some people don't see you well, so they will try their best to spread rumors about you. Spreading rumors is a very low-cost thing that can easily destroy a person. I'm fine. Xia Yu turned his head and smiled lowly. You and my parents must not be allowed to suffer from such an indiscriminate disaster. This incident happened because of me, but it shouldn't hurt you. Bai Jinyu's heart moved slightly. She muttered, actually, I didn't suffer any harm, and I don't care. But I care. Xia Yu's voice was very soft. You, my parents, you are the people I care about most, and my fans shouldn't be troubled by such false public opinion. Bai Jinyu blinked. I will support you. You should go to Teacher Si first. Xia Yu stood up and rubbed her head. Stop shooting, I'll go home. Meanwhile, the occult authority. According to Xia Yangkai's instructions, Steward Yun sorted out the ins and outs of everything. Xia Yangkai listened patiently without any change in expression. Yun Fengzi. He took a deep breath, and the usually gentle man swears at this moment, furious, open their dog eyes and see clearly, I am his father. That brat Xiaoyu still wants to be equal to him. What a dream. Don't these media have brains or eyes? Yun Fengzi was very angry, and patted the table. I have long seen that this kid is extremely black-hearted. When he was a child, he betrayed his mother badly, saying that he was afraid of thunder and lightning and needed someone to accompany him, which made me stay alone in the empty room, saying that he destroyed. There is nothing wrong with the family either. Butler Yun. Is this focus wrong? Steward Yun felt deeply that his husband was unreliable, so he asked Xia Yangkai as usual, Master, Who would have thought that the current media and marketing accounts in the entertainment industry are so outrageous? Even Xia Yangkai and Xia Yu are spreading rumors. This kid said he has a girlfriend, but he can't be misunderstood by his girlfriend. Xia Yangkai was thoughtful. I thought it was the media who picked up his girlfriend. I was happy for nothing. I think this kid is just lying to me. Butler Yun said again. The principal's focus is not quite right either. Young leader means to hold a press conference to clarify. Yun Butler said, he also doesn't want you two and the other girl to be deliberately fabricated rumors. Yun Feng felt strange. It sounds nice, I guess it happened incidentally. But he was just talking about it. He was more anxious than anyone else when Xiaoyu had an accident. Where's the brat? Yun Fengzi asked, what's going on with him? Everything is fine with the young leader, and he is on his way back now. Steward Yun wiped his sweat. The young leader is very angry, and he said that he must thoroughly investigate this matter. Investigate? Of course we must investigate, Xia Yangkai said coldly. I also want to see who is so blind to spread such rumors. Butler Yun said respectfully, yes. Rumors about the leader of the Spirit League and the leader of the Young Alliance are indeed tired of life. The public opinion on the internet has not stopped, and it has intensified. Public opinion rose to the highest point after Mu Qing liked a Weibo post. The content of the Weibo was to reprimand Xiaoyu for stealing Mu Qing's male lead, and bringing money into the group, including his little lover. The likes only existed for a minute before being cancelled, but the screenshots were posted high on the trending searches. Mu Qing's fans went crazy. Let me just say, Mu Qing was robbed of the male lead. Xiaoyu, you want to snatch other people's male lead, you are really hateful. Boycott the art of the world. I won't read it if Xiaoyu is around. Thank you, go away. Mu Qing is also watching the public opinion on the internet in real time. The good news is that there are quite a few people who support him. At least his fans believe in him, that's enough. He also only has so little time to raise the heat. When Xiaoyu's team came back to their senses, there would be no chance. Mu Qing's breath was not completely relieved, but Xiaoyu posted on Weibo at this time. Link. There are no pictures and texts, only a link to the live broadcast room. Mu Qing was stunned for a moment. His hand speed was faster than his brain speed, and he clicked in. On the screen is a huge auditorium, which gathered all kinds of media, including the International Times Monthly. Press conference. It's terrible for the rumor mongers. I'm a longtime fan of Brother Xie, and I've never seen him hold a special press conference to clarify. Brother Xie's adoption is outrageous, but the rich woman must have something to do with him. Come out, the three of you came together. In the auditorium, under the stage, the reporters have already been seated. Spirit League has the ability to gather all the major media within an hour, and even the media don't know what happened. But when Yun Fengzi, Xia Yangkai and Xiaoyu appeared together, all the rumors were gone. Xia Yangkai walked in the middle. She took a step forward, patted the microphone, and said lightly, The purpose of calling everyone here today is to clarify the rumors. Many people say that I am Xiaoyu's benefactor who raised him. Yes, no, wrong. The reporters were dumbfounded. What? Admit it? No way. Of course it's true that I'm his benefactor. Xia Yankai crossed his arms and raised his eyebrows. After all, his father and I raised him. He eats mine and wears mine. Call him benefactor, what's the matter? It's only right to call me aunt. As she spoke, she took off her mask, revealing her true face. The next second, with a bang, he pressed his hand on the table. Why, is this kid not like me, or are you blind? A face that was 70% similar to Xiaoyu was exposed to the camera, which had a great impact. Netizens were shocked and lost their voices. Depend on. It's mom. Is the marketing account sick? What happened to the son going shopping with his mother? Those who spread rumors need to show some face. Brother Xia was originally from a wealthy family. Have you forgotten that the Xia family came to your door in historical relics? Both Brother Xia and Mother Xia are from the Huo family in the Free State. Oh, I guess I really don't know. Mu Qing hadn't made his debut at that time. Recently my arm started to hurt again. TVT. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1050. Chapter 1032. Strong Xia Yankai, shameless in dating. Holy shit, I remembered, Mama Xia is from the Huo family. What about Dad? Could it be some hidden family? Forgive me for being a person who has never seen the world. I really can't think of any other big families. Thank you for your domineering mother. I love. Thank you for your mother. From today onwards, I've been a fan of Xiaoyu's mother, but I don't know who Xiaoyu is. Etc. Brother Xia and Goddess Si look alike, so it can be called a coincidence, but our mother Xia also looks like Qing Qing. What else do you want to ask? Let's make it clear. Xia Yankai glanced at the media reporters present, and said in a calm voice, I have a lot of things to do, and I don't have time to deal with this brat who spread rumors to me and my future son. The daughter-in-law is coming, and she is really brave. Xia Yankai was indeed a little worried. Xiaoyu only has this face as an absolute advantage. His temper sometimes goes bad. How can he catch up with girls? What if her future daughter-in-law runs away in anger? Also, there are rumors that you helped Xiaoyu snatch Mu Qing's leading actor. The reporter, who has experienced many battles, lost his senses in front of Xia Yankai and stammered, No. I don't know you. There is. Xia Yankai looked at Steward Yun. Who is Mu Qing? What kind of hero? Butler Yun hurriedly stepped forward, took out the document and looked it over, and immediately said, Master, Mu Qing is an artist under Juzhong Entertainment, with 40 million Weibo fans, and he is one of the top men in the past 3 years. Xia Yankai frowned even tighter. There have always been rumors on the internet that the male protagonist of The Art of the World is Mu Qing, but this is just a rumor from Juzhong Entertainment. Mu Qing's fans also took it seriously, but Mu Qing's team did not sign a contract with the crew. Yun Butler is very dedicated. It's actually because he is not strong enough that he didn't get the leading actor. The young master has never taken his role. Now Mu Qing is the second male lead in The Art of the World. There are a few tidbits on the internet. Martial arts, literature, and drama are all restrained to death by the young master. Xia Yankai's brows stretched, and he said lightly, I see. I thought it was the brat who beat up the other party and forced him to give up his role. Laughing to death, this face is slapped. Our mother Xia doesn't even know who Mu Qing is, so how dare you say grab the role? Yeah, let's not talk about family background. Mu Qing can't compare to Xiaoyu in terms of acting skills, right? You said the role was yours without signing the contract. Why didn't you say that you are the actor of Glenn? Brother Xia really never relied on family influence. If he used the momentum to suppress people from the beginning, he would still be voted for in youth. Lu Yan's family is nothing in front of Brother Xia. Steward Yun said again, "You may not know him, sir, but he and Qin Ziyu belong to the same company, and they are taking the same route." Oh, mentioning Qin Ziyu, Xia Yankai suddenly realized, it turns out that he is from the same company as Qing from our family. No wonder the methods they use are so similar. Besides spreading rumors, what else can they do? Her aura is too strong, so fierce that others dare not look at her closely. Now that Xia Yankai has shown his true face again, no one can fail to see that this is a face very similar to Si. Brother Xia won't really be a wealthy sibling with goddess Si. I just said why they look so similar. This must be the same mother. Well, Brother Xia didn't have family status in the first place, and now he doesn't even have one. Brother Xia, don't cry, stand up, you have to get used to the fact that you have no status. Okay, this question is over, let's continue. Xia Yankai raised his chin, allow you to ask the third question. The entertainment reporters sitting in the first row wiped off their sweat in unison, all trembling with fear. But this is related to their work performance, no matter how difficult it is, they have to bite the bullet and do it. Also, there is one more question, the reporter said tremblingly. The matter of Mr. Xia's girlfriend is also rumored on the internet that Mr. Xia used your money to stuff his girlfriend into the crew, and then... Huh? There is such a thing? Xia Yankai was surprised. I really have a girlfriend, where is the photo? Let me see. The reporter's voice became more and more difficult. No. There is no frontal photo, only the same frame of the crew, but it should be a photo of the opposite play, in fact. Xia Yankai interrupted him unceremoniously. Fake, what did you say? Mother Xia, I'm very serious. Don't lie to me. The daughter-in-law I finally obtained ran away, making me happy for nothing. It's all rumors, none of them are true. The people who spread the rumors are miserable, let's see who you have offended. The media reporters also fell silent. Okay, it's time to leave. Xia Yankai clapped his hands and smiled. In the future, if you want to know the secret of Xiaoyu, I suggest that people who want to know can come and ask me directly. No need to spread rumors, I will give you the real information. Hearing this sentence, Xiaoyu finally raised his eyelids. Mom, please show me some face. However, I still ask everyone to support the TV series The Art of the World. Xia Yankai said again, honors also help me to see if I have a daughter-in-law. Honor is Xiaoyu's fan name. Must be sure, don't worry, Mom. Oh, worry, can Brother Xia really find someone? I don't believe it, it won't be possible within 10 years. Brother Xia has already planned to spend the rest of his life with Xiao Bibai, serious face. Hashtag I don't know who Muqing is. Hashtag Moon Touch Porcelain. Hashtag. This reporter's clarification meeting was originally carried out when public opinion reached its peak, and it got a perfect result of dispelling rumors. The trend of public opinion was completely reversed, and the marketing account and navy were beaten helplessly. Muqing didn't expect that Xiaoyu's reaction would be so fast this time, and he didn't even give him a chance to take advantage of it again. Because of the backlash from public opinion, the agent and other members of the studio were all overwhelmed. In particular, Muqing's previous swipe likes became the best evidence after the reversal of public opinion. Netizens all said that he was green tea into essence and White Lotus reborn. Even though Muqing's fans are still resisting and saying that Xiaoyu's family is aggressive and bullying the small with the big, it can't change the fact that Muqing's family has collapsed the house. Muqing lost his composure, and his face became distorted. How could it be his parents? He has such powerful parents and still hides them. If he had Xiaoyu's background, he would have established a stable position in the entertainment circle long ago, and anyone would be trampled under his feet. The manager was a little tired, he sighed, and smiled bitterly. After Qin Ziyu lost power, the company originally bet all its treasures on you, but I didn't expect to follow Chin Zio's old path. Ju's Hung Entertainment was originally a new star, and the stars under its command were all produced quickly. They didn't have enough strength, and they all relied on means such as blogging and gimmicks to attract traffic. Mu Qing and Chin Zio are still the pillars. Now, both pillars are broken. Mu Qing clenched his fists hard, his expression was ugly. Then what should we do now? I didn't make an official appearance this time, so I won't collapse like Chin Zio. After Chin Zio broke the law and was taken away, he and Chin Zio had already separated. Let's see what the company says first. The manager shook his head. The most important thing is Xiaoyu. If he pursues it, we. Obviously using the same means as before. How did you come to this point? The broker was also a little dazed. Harmful to others instead of harming himself. At this moment, he regretted why he created black public opinion against Xiaoyu. The next day, in the afternoon, Tianxiaju crew. Although the public opinion has reversed, Xiaoyu's popularity has risen instead of falling. When Bai Jinyu went to the set for the past few days, she always turned into a pixie to avoid being discovered. Today's shoot went very well. After Xiaoyu changed into casual clothes, he sent her back to Xia University. Bai Jinyu went upstairs with a big bag of snacks that Xiaoyu bought for her. After returning to the dormitory, she happily took out her mobile phone and sent Sci-fi a message. Bai Jinyu, Juju, I touched Yu's ABS today. After sending it, she put down her phone and went to the bathroom to take a shower. After taking a shower, she came back after drying her hair and habitually picked up her phone. The screen lights up, and two messages come into view. Thank you: Xiaoyu, when did it happen? Why don't I have an impression? But these are not important. How does it feel? Tell me the story. Bai Jinyu's hands trembled and she jumped up in shock. How did the message she sent to Juju reach the black sesame glutinous rice balls? Bai Jinyu clicked on the dialog box between her and Sci-fi, and found that there was no new message sent. After being silent for half a minute, she finally realized something about her death. She sent it to the wrong person. Xiaoyu, I've been typing, what do you want to tell me? Bai Jinyu, I don't want to say anything, I want to withdraw. Just pretend you didn't see it. Xiaoyu, that's not okay, I saw it with both eyes. Seriously, when did you touch it? Bai Jinyu felt a little guilty. Bai Jinyu, I touched it while you were sleeping on a chair after filming today. Xiaoyu, so, do you like it? Bai Jinyu, as the young leader of the Spirit League and the future director of the Supernatural Administration, do you know how to write the word shame? Xiaoyu, oh, I'm sorry, I really don't know, but if you teach me, I will study hard. Bai Jinyu gave up arguing with him on this kind of matter. He is shameless, she can't be more shameless than him, can she? She replied aggressively. Bai Jinyu, it doesn't feel good at all. Xiaoyu, what's wrong? Is it not in the right place? Go downstairs and I will teach you. Bai Jinyu was taken aback for a moment. She ran to the balcony and looked down. In front of the girls' dormitory, sweet-scented Osman thus fell to the ground. The young man raised his hand to catch a falling sweet-scented Osman thus flower, with a smile on his lips, as beautiful as an aristocratic nobleman walking out of an ancient splash ink painting. As if feeling her gaze, he suddenly raised his head and looked up. Looking at each other, she saw him waving at her, his fox eyes bent even deeper. Bai Jinyu retracted her head. She shamefully found out that she is as deep-faced as Juju. Bai Jinyu, I don't want it, you can keep it for yourself. Xiaoyu, they are all girlfriends, why don't you exercise your right as a girlfriend? If you don't touch your ABS, where do you want to touch them? Bai Jinyu, I want to expose your evil deeds to Juju, and Xia and your fans. After she finished posting the sentence, she quit WeChat and began to study professional textbooks seriously. No matter how Xiaoyu tempted her, she would not be moved. Bai Jinyu secretly gave herself a thumbs up in her heart. In this matter, she is more determined than Jeju. The next day was Saturday. Bai Jinyu slept until 8 o'clock. She rubbed her eyes, picked up her phone, and received a new message from Xiaoyu as expected. "Thank you, breakfast is ready, can my girlfriend go downstairs to have a meal together?" Bai Jinyu held her chin and replied yes. Sometimes things are so beautiful that they are not real, but it is this kind of daily life that makes her feel like falling in love. I have to admit that Xiaoyu is a very competent boyfriend, and he prepared food and gold bars for her. Now Bai Jinyu has completely transformed and does not need gold bars to replenish energy. She prefers human food. After eating, the two left the cafeteria. Walking on the street, Xiaoyu turned his head. "Is there any reward?" Bai Jinyu blinked. She transformed back into Pixiu, stretched out her little tongue to lick his lips, and then quickly transformed back. "Reward." She is really a smart big Pixiu. Xiaoyu stopped in his tracks, seemed to sigh lightly, and said, "This is not called kissing." Bai Jinyu was proudly praising herself. When she heard these 4 words, Pai Yao was dumbfounded. "Huh?" Xiaoyu suddenly raised his hand, held her hand, and pulled her to his chest. With the other hand, he gently clasped her head, and then leaned over and kissed her. A shallow kiss from the corner of the lips, then tossed and turned, gradually deepened, and conquered the city. His movements were gentle, but when he kissed her it was violent. After a long time, his lips moved away, the corners of his eyes slightly bent, and he gave a lazy chuckle. "That's the name." His clean and clear voice was a little hoarse at the moment, with a slight panting sound, as if wrapped in a hazy mist, which was a bit unreal. "Bai Jinyu. She is very sad." Could it be that as a Pixiu, her learning in this area is still inferior to that of Xiaoyu? She could only ask Sci-fi to teach her some experience, but Jeju couldn't teach her. How should this be done? Bai Jinyu thought about it sadly, and finally decided to ask Hugh Ejian for advice. "I heard that Jeju's eldest cousin was sleeping, but he still hasn't succeeded in taking the position, so it must be worth learning." Bai Jinyu turned her head. "Next time I will become a big Pixiu and slap you to death with one paw." Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows when he heard the words, "Really willing? Worth it? I'm going to be sad. I'm too stupid to believe you." Xiaoyu put his hands in his pockets, watched Bai Jinyu walk forward aggressively, his lips curled slightly. She was well protected by Sci-fucking before, she was as clean as a piece of white paper, it wasn't stupid. The two came to the set together. "Xiaoyu," a roar sounded, "Xiaoyu, you are too much." Xiaoyu raised his eyes casually. Where did the mad dog come from, biting people indiscriminately? "Thank you," Mu Qing was furious. "Do you dare to say that it wasn't you who kicked me out of the crew? You have nothing to lose, so why be so aggressive?" "It's me." Xiaoyu lowered his eyes, and said in a calm voice, "What can you do?" Xiaobai, who has never experienced danger in life. Xiaobai, kuk. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 1051. Chapter 1033. The mentality has collapsed, the co-lord of the universe is exposed again. Mu Qing's movements stopped, and his voice stopped abruptly. Obviously he didn't expect Xiaoyu to admit it so openly. He was even more angry, and he clenched his fists tightly. "Why? You think that your family has a great career and a strong background, so you can do whatever you want." He and his team led the public to cyberbully Xiaoyu without investigating clearly. Mu Qing also regretted this matter very much. If he had known that the fact that Xiaoyu's mother's family was the Miss Huo family in Liberty Island had been exposed in the Road to Historic Relics, he would not dare to give him 100 courage. No matter how bad he is in the entertainment industry, he is not enough to be seen in Liberty Island. According to his knowledge, at most he has heard the name of Liberty Island. The popularity of the variety show Road to Historic Relics was not high. At that time, Sci-Fi was only a guest star. Later, because of the collapse of Byung-se's character design, this variety show did not have any splashes, except for some related information about Sci-Fi on the video website. The popularity of Ching's editing and cutting remains high. Not to mention that Xiaoyu never mentioned his family in the past few years, so Mu Qing forgot. Thinking of this, Mu Qing gritted his teeth again. Xiaoyu, you must have done it on purpose. Since you are from a big family in Liberty Continent, why didn't you say it? It's interesting to hide it from the public. The more he talked, the more excited he became, and his eyes were red. There are so many audience resources in Liberty Island that are not enough for you. You insist on coming to Daxia to compete with me? You are doing a good job in filming, dare you say that you are not good at TV dramas, for your little lover. Xiaoyu shouldn't have appeared, the Tianxiaju was originally his. Xiaoyu raised his eyelashes, and said in a gentle tone, well, what's the problem? Mu Qing looked at him in disbelief. You. Bai Jinyu poked her head with a serious expression. No, there is a problem, the roles are reversed. Xiaoyu was startled, then smiled. He lowered his head slightly. Well, on the contrary, I am your little lover. With a suppressed laugh, he purposely dragged out the tone of the last three words very long, with the tendency of turning 1,000 times. Bai Jinyu stepped back quickly, raised her hand, and said righteously, it is forbidden to seduce others in broad daylight and in a bright world. Seduction, Xiaoyu pondered for a moment, then nodded slightly, I can do everything, it depends on what Xiaobai likes. Bai Jinyu's Paishiu's pause became stiff. It must be that she has never been in contact with anyone in the past, so she cannot accept such shameless thanks. The impotent and furious Mu Qing has been dragged away by Xiaoyu's guards, and the filming of the crew is proceeding normally. When Xiaoyu was filming solo scenes and scenes with other actors, Bai Jinyu studied seriously, and when it was her turn to play, she also treated them rigorously. The crew loves her very much. After filming the last scene, Xiaoyu changed his costume and called her, Xiaobai. Bai Jinyu looked up. The young man hasn't taken off his makeup yet. He already has an extremely prosperous face, but under the embellishment of the makeup of the ancient god of war, he looks even more aggressive. In the art of the world, the god of war is an ancient god who cares about all the people in the world and is willing to fall into the gap of time. Although he is neither sad nor happy, he has great love in his heart. Xiaoyu, who was already outside the play at this moment, bent his eyes towards her, making people seem to see the god of war who could laugh. He said, I haven't invited your friends to dinner yet, how about tonight? Okay, I'll go back and tell Yan Yan. Bai Jinyu tilted her head, then have you figured out how to tell Aunt Xie? No. Xiaoyu's eyelashes drooped, I can hide for a while, you know it hurts when she hits someone. Bai Jinyu blinked her eyes, anyway, I wasn't the one who hit me, so I don't feel any pain. Xiaoyu said lightly, well, you will feel bad. I won't. Bai Jinyu emphasized, not at all. She stood up, put the script away and put it in her school bag. I'll go back to the dormitory and call Yan Yan, you go to the restaurant first. Xiaoyu put one hand in his pocket, with a casual expression, okay. 10 minutes later, Xiata, the female undergraduate dormitory. Bai Jinyu pushed the door open and went in. Yan Yan, are you there? Here Bian Suiyan said weakly, I wrote my math homework for a day, and this person is dead, so I have to burn the paper. Yan Yan. Bai Jinyu coughed lightly, my boyfriend wants to invite my roommate to dinner, are you going? Hearing this sentence, Bian Suiyan, who was lying dead on the bed, jumped up and turned pale with shock. What boyfriend? What happened in just a few days? Why was her cute baby roommate suddenly taken away by the big bad wolf? Who? Who is it? Just hand it in, you are the second to know. Baijinyu raised a finger, he treats guests, so you must give him a good meal. Go, you have to go. Bien Suiyan got off the bed aggressively, I'll help you check it out, you don't know that men nowadays can deceive people, you are so stupid, oh no, you are so good, you will be caught, it's been cheated around. Baijinyu was a little sad. Bien Suiyan tidied up quickly, and took Baijinyu's arm, let's go, let's go. She was ready to attack Baijinyu's boyfriend anytime. Xia Yuxuan's restaurant is not far from Xia University, it is an antique pavilion, located next to Qingshui Lake, the environment is quiet, and there are separate boxes. Baijinyu took Bien Suiyan upstairs according to the box number Xia Yu gave her. Bien Suiyan lowered her voice and asked her, Jinyu, how old is your boyfriend? It wouldn't work if he was much older than you, old men are even more deceptive. Baijinyu was silent. In terms of age, she is much older than Xia Yu. But according to the time of incarnation, she is indeed younger than him. Two people go in. Xia Yu is looking at the menu. From Bien Suiyan's point of view, she could only see Xia Yu's figure and clothes. Good figure and good taste in clothes. But still cannot rest assured. Bien Suiyan straightened her expression, took a step forward, and was about to speak, but at this moment, the young man suddenly raised her head. A face that is extremely familiar to her and often appears on the big screen was exposed to the air. Hi, I'm Xia Yu, Xiaobai's boyfriend. Xia Yu got up and reached out to her, you're welcome, just eat whatever you want. Bien Suiyan. Bien Suiyan's eyes widened. Bien Suiyan fell on the seat and was declared dead. Baijinyu has been by Sci-Fi's side for a long time, and she is already handy in this kind of thing. She quickly took out a Sci brand quick-acting heart relief pill from her bag, and stuffed it into Bien Suiyan's mouth. Bien Suiyan has come back to life, but she has no energy. She looked at Baijinyu tremblingly, Jinyu, why didn't you tell me in advance, so that I can be mentally prepared? Well, it's my fault, Xia Yu said unhurriedly, I heard Xiaobai say you knocked on our CP, and I wanted to give you a surprise. Bien Suiyan covered her heart. Is this a surprise? This is scare. Xia Yu nodded again, by the way, you seem to have something to tell me. Bien Suiyan held Baijinyu's hand with tears in her eyes, in the future, just send me more photos of the couple together. She had already forgotten all the questions she wanted to ask Xia Yu. Her CP has come true, she wants to eat 3 more bowls of rice today. On the other side, private villas. Zijiang and Feng San are following the instructions in the 100 love strategies issued by the Mo family, trying to get out of the order online. Shua. A sword energy suddenly fell, splitting the ground. Zijiang and Feng San were startled and got up immediately. Just when they thought it was an enemy attack, Yu Huixiu fell to the ground and nodded slightly at them, sorry, my hand slipped. Canyoning. If the hand is not slippery, wouldn't it be chopped on him? Yu Huixiu put away her sword, stroked the ashes on her sleeves, and went straight into the hall of the villa. Sci-Fi was designing clothes, but she had heard the movement long ago. She raised her head and raised her eyebrows, haven't you been fighting swords with Chen Jing? Why did you have the time to come to me today? I came to you because of Sister Neng. Yu Huixiu sat down opposite her, her soul is scattered in different worlds in different universes. If you help Tan Jingmo open the passage to these worlds, I'm afraid it will also get the attention of others in those worlds. She is now at the peak of the spiritual god realm and can touch the barrier of the world. There are many small worlds outside the world, and there are bigger worlds above the world. The combination of big and small worlds will form a universe. She can even perceive the existence of co-lords in other universes, let alone Sci-Fi. The major universes and small worlds operate independently without interfering with each other. Perhaps because of the disorder of the 4 laws of time, space, death, and life, there will be people who go through time, rebirth, etc. who are against the laws of heaven, but as long as they do not interfere with the natural operation of the world, these are allowed to exist. But the situation of dear Qingling is different. Sci-fi opened the world passage, forcibly using Lu Qingning's only remaining soul to gather the remaining 3 souls and 7 souls for him, which is against the sky. If it touches the rules of other worlds, it will cause the wrath of the rules of heaven and earth, and it will be easy for the soul to be completely swallowed. In severe cases, it may even lead to the collapse of the world. Well, I also thought about this beforehand. Sci-fi's voice sank. Last night I went back to Liberty Island to look at Sister Ning's body, and there were already 6 souls in it, and only 1 was left. It is also in the process of condensing. The key lies in the next 3 souls. Yu Huixu's eyes moved, and she nodded slowly. It will be a matter of time before the 7th soul returns, and Tan Jingmo is going to find Sister Ning's 3 souls. It can't be said to be dangerous, but there is a master in the universe over there, so I'm afraid it will cause trouble. I will keep monitoring. Sci hummed. At that time, you and I will always pay attention to the 2nd child and Sister Ning, and if there is any rejection, immediately pull them back. Yu Huixu frowned. No, if you make a move, the trouble involved will be even greater. So what about the trouble? Sci didn't care, just smiled. From the moment I first woke up, my goal was revenge. Since I have the ability to bring Sister Ning back, I must do it. After a pause, she stopped laughing. Her expression was unprecedentedly serious. Sister Ning said that our eternal squad will not die. Yu Huixu's expression shook slightly, and she held her wrist with her backhand. I know, I will walk with you on this road. You are not alone. How is your cultivation recovering? Almost recovered. Sci stretched his waist. When necessary, I will go to the world where Sister Ning's 3 souls are, and negotiate with her master. While the two were talking, another sound of sword energy suddenly came from the yard. 11 Zhang looked at the 2nd crack in the ground, shook his hand, and the book fell to the ground. In the next second, the sword immortal fell from the sky, with a tall body and a graceful posture. I'm sorry, I slipped my hand. Chen Jing repeatedly apologized and smiled. I came to find my martial arts partner, and I didn't intend to disturb the 2 of you. Go on, go on. Canyoning. When you do something, there will always be various accidents that prevent you from doing it, which proves that this thing should not be done. He gets it? He doesn't deserve a match. Here, after eating, Bian Suiyan immediately found an excuse to slip away. Of course, she would not be a light bulb sandwiched between lovers and emitting a discordant light. Xiaoyu turned his head. Where are you going back today? Spirit League has your room. I'm not going back with you. Bai Jinyu folded his hands behind his back, but I'm merciful, and I can send you back. Hearing this, Xiaoyu smiled lowly. Okay. Okay, I'll go back to the dormitory after seeing you off. Bai Jinyu clapped her hands. I want to study, and no one can interfere with my studies and career. She did what she said, and she really sent Xiaoyu back to Lingmeng. Just when she was about to turn around, her wrist was held by another big hand. Bai Jinyu looked at him. What are you doing? Do you want to go back on your word? Xiaoyu said in a low voice. Wait a while before leaving. Okay. At this moment, his expression softened, like a big dog about to be abandoned, very downcast. Bai Jinyu's heart also softened. Okay, then I'll hug you again, and I'll leave. Yes. Xiaoyu opened his arms and smiled. Hug. Bai Jinyu also stretched out her hand, but instead of hugging him, she kneaded his face vigorously, kneading it into dough, and said viciously, I'm going to turn you into an ugly monster. Xiaoyu originally let her touch him, but looked down at her lazily with a pair of fox eyes. But after hearing these words, he suddenly stood up straight and grabbed her hand. That's not allowed. He still has to rely on his face. Bai Jinyu began to wipe tears sadly. You really don't like me, you lied to me. Xiaoyu was helpless. Who did you learn this trick from? Bai Jinyu blinked. I've been by Jeju's side for so long, of course I can learn everything. Xiaoyu hummed, and hugged her again. You've learned very well, so don't learn it next time. Bai Jinyu rubbed his face. Since you said so, I have to study hard. Thank you. Suddenly, a shout sounded from behind. Bai Jinyu shuddered and wanted to raise his head, but Xiaoyu pressed him on the shoulder. Xiaoyu was very calm. Ms. Xia, what's wrong? Xia Yangkai crossed his arms. What are you doing with your back to me? Turn around, let me see the daughter-in-law you found for me. She really wanted to see which family's little girl got into the boat of her brat. Brother Xia, who is about to suffer again? The Emperor Ying and the Lord are coming soon. I watched 2 movies recently, and I seem to have some inspiration for a new book, but some of them are ideas for the finale. Speaking of which, except for the book Ying Huang, the other 3 books are all about the ending first QWQ. If you have favorite stocks, characters and plots, you can also tell me. No accident, according to my writing habits, there will be some mythological elements in Sister Yes book.